Meanwhile, New York City Democrat Socialist Mayor Zoran Mamdani is backing off of his threat to arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu when he attends the United Nations General Assembly this September, admitting he does not have the authority to do such a thing. But Mamdani is still trying to fire up activists, urging anti-Israel protesters to make their voices heard when the prime minister visits New York. Watch.
I'm simply saying that this is a city where if anyone feels a level of frustration or opposition, protest is something that we will always respect. I leave it to New Yorkers themselves to make that decision. And when it comes to Palestinian New Yorkers who are disappointed, I understand it, because we are talking about someone who has been charged with crimes against humanity, someone who has visited the city on many an occasion and who has been welcomed by previous mayors.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 1,000 cities around the world. We just finished 17 years of broadcast excellence. Now in our 18th year. The Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. Good MAGA morning. Question: what happens if Shia Islam and communism take over a country like America? History already ran that experiment. Look at Iran after 1979, the revolution that overthrew the Shah, mixed Shia fervor with heavy doses of socialistic rhetoric, anti-imperialism, redistribution, justice for the oppressed, Sharia, leftist Islamists baked this perfect into this communist cake. Result? The Iranian people, 80% of them, got a theocratic police state. Those Shia revolutionaries who marched with the socialists later and for the last 47 years up to today executed thousands of them. Their private property stolen to the clerical state. Women lost all their rights. Free speech vanished. Oil wealth funded this repression. All pushed by 3 Democratic Socialist presidents. Geniuses all. Jimmy Carter, Barack Hussein Obama, and Joe Otto Penn Biden. And now it's infected the United States of America. Mamdani has put his Jew/Christian hating socialist blather to the point that people are escaping his monarchy into America at a frightening pace. At least people of the USA have a place to escape, unlike the imprisoned Persians in Iran. For now, that is.
Joining me now in this Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is the man himself, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good to be with you, Maria.
So, Prime Minister, you just heard what Zoran Mamdani had to say. He's calling you a war criminal. You're not welcome in New York City. We, of course, also heard from President Trump on this and many others who said this is absolutely not happening. But what are your plans? Are you still going to come to the UN General Assembly? Are you concerned about coming to New York?
No, I'm not concerned, and I certainly intend to do so. I've appeared just about every year, not every year, but almost every year in my prime ministership, unless there are security conditions. But barring that, and I don't expect that to be the case this time, yes, I do intend to come to New York.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to have a great show today. We've got lots of great guests, and we've got JP sitting across from me. My lovely bride is not here yet, but she will be. And Rick, who does all the bits and clips, had a big one this last week. We're going to do a lot of stuff here, both on the bits and on live interviews. With us today, we have, let me take a look here. We've got JJ Bradshaw coming on at 8:07. Rabbi Moshe Rothschild, after a great interview last week with Bill Hardwick, running for Senate in the court of democracy in Missouri. And then we've got Chris Adamo. He'll be on, and then we have Walid Phares. Walid Phares, and he's going to be this is a top notch catch for this show. This guy is all over the place, talking to all sorts of people. Sean Hannity and Maria Bartiromo. He is a worldwide known person. He should be really interesting. And to close the show, we got Mark and Pat McCloskey. So we got a great show coming. JJ will be up soon. And let's see. What do we got? What do we got here? Oh, okay. Well, we've got a major thing happening right now. Spain has been invaded by who? By Morocco. And we're going to be talking for a second. Well, okay, well, let's catch it while we can, because this gentleman here is, he's 258 years old, celebrating just 8 years outside of the course of this country. And he used to hang out at the bars in Virginia, and listen to all the politics that go on there, Jefferson and Washington and everyone else. And all those people created this great Constitution. He's an expert in it. Please welcome, all the way from Rolla, Missouri, John Jeffrey Bradshaw.
Good morning, Dave.
Hi, JJ. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I decided this morning that I would tackle something in a little bit of depth. I normally hit the high points on everything, and Fauci is a big enough story that I think we ought to look at several aspects of it.
Yeah.
So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. A couple of days ago, Rand Paul, who chairs the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee, grilled Fauci for 3 hours on his participation in the COVID debacle. And I think we better look at some of the facets of that. This is becoming very fascinating. Fauci was grilled for 3 hours.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
By Rand Paul and our very own senator. And Fauci took the Fifth Amendment 111 times in that 3 hours.
Amazing.
During that entire thing, he had his lawyer with him until the lawyer got kicked out. That guy was David Shartler, and he just wouldn't shut up. And Rand Paul finally had security escort him out of the building. But what's fascinating about this, and what led my interest into this is Fauci was pardoned for any potential crimes that he may have committed by Joe Biden's autopen. And since Fauci was pardoned of any potential crimes yet to be discovered, he is not allowed to take the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment of our Constitution keeps you from incriminating yourself.
Right.
And
folks, we're having an internet issue right now, so we're going to fight through this.
Yeah. Okay.
We having some problems, gentlemen? Here I am.
You're idiot of himself, a dangerous idiot. I'm sorry. Go ahead. JJ, you there?
Yeah, you guys having some problems on your end?
Apparently.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah. Some internet issues. Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad it's not me. So Joe Biden wrote a very broad pardon for Fauci and, the January 6th committee and a whole bunch of folks. And as a result, since Fauci has already been pardoned of all these potential crimes, it is my contention that he can't take the Fifth. He can't plead the Fifth. Well, an acquaintance of mine the other day, who happens to be a Democrat, said, "Bradshaw, you're full of it. The fact is that he can plead the Fifth." And I said, "Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm right, but let me research this." So I did research this.
Okay.
And Brown versus Walker was decided by the Supreme Court in 1896. And if you want to look this thing up, it's 161 U.S. 591. And in Brown versus Walker, what happened was one of these fellows had been pardoned and then was required to come and testify, and ultimately went to the United States Supreme Court, in which the Supreme Court said, if you have been pardoned of crimes at the federal level, your Fifth Amendment protection no longer exists.
Really?
Fauci can be compelled to testify. Now, he's going to lie like hell, of course, but he can be compelled by the court. And I believe next week it is likely that they're going to file contempt of Congress charges against this guy.
Well, there's another outlet for charging Fauci, and that is states are not obliged to uphold
about that, Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped on your line. Go ahead.
You think I prep only half-assed for this show? I mean,
no, I'm just trying to help. I'll shut up.
So DeSantis, who is the governor of Florida, has instructed the Florida Attorney General, whose name is James Lithmeyer, to request the documents from the Congress of the United States that they are using to pursue Fauci. Good morning, Lisa. And pardoned by Joe Biden. Fauci has a rather large staff. There was about 35 people that reported to him during the COVID debacle. And I do believe that our Congress our Government Affairs Committee is going to subpoena some of those folks to testify. And at some point, some of them may testify against Fauci. So this thing, ordinarily, I don't pay much attention to things like this. A lot of times they're just all talk and no results. This one, I believe, is convoluted enough that we may actually see indictments on Fauci, at least at the state level. And I think Congress is going to want to talk to some of his minions and find out what he was this them to do, because they do not have immunity.
Well,
so that's why this is so.
How much damage does this guy do? Think about it. I mean,
it's a hell of a lot.
Think about it, and all the people that were with him. Burks is trying to weasel her way out of this, and she went for everything. This is mass murder on a very, very large schedule, because he knew it was false. He knew it came from the laboratory in China. He made money off of this, millions of dollars, and he told everybody to be quiet about it.
You know, it's even worse than that, in my opinion, Dave. Look at the schools that he shut down.
Yeah.
Look at all of these small businesses that went out of business as a result of his shutdown. Take a look at all the churches where people were banned from gathering together to worship as a result of this thing. And it's now looking like this was all a farce. We were sold a bill of goods. This was not the most deadly virus in the world. As a matter of fact, most people that got it survived it rather well.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah, and her, and him.
Consider the jab that they demanded that people take, that is proven to have the white stringy stuff in your veins that ultimately kills you. This thing was ginned up in no time at all by Pfizer and Moderna. And there's some question about the efficacy of this vaccine as well. Now, I know you have talked about the jabs so many times, and I think you're 100% right. This is one that you and I agree.
But it was early on. I mean, it was early on. It was like in January of 21 is when I fired my Fauci loving doctor. And oh my God, what a great person this guy is, this Fauci. Oh my God. He was worshiping him. And I fired his butt because he wanted me to get the shot even after getting it in 21. Mm-hmm. That's just no way. Me and my wife got it, and we both refused it.
You know, this has the potential of being one of the biggest scandals that this country's ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy's right at the center of it. Birx is at the center of it. I want to hear what the minions that work for these clowns have to say, because once the finger starts pointing at them, you know one of them is going to roll over and say, well, this is what actually happened.
I think more than one of them, they're going to be ratting out like you're like crazy. And did you see the Democrats try to save this? The actual hearing was very interesting. The Republicans tore them apart, and the Democrats were like they were protecting him, and actually for this mass murder.
The Democrats are scoundrels and liars, so we can expect these things from them. But this was an interesting piece of investigation that I thought warranted a little deeper look because of the ramifications. And the one that's going to blow up in their face is Brown versus Walker, 1896. It's right there in the books. You can look it up.
I think you ought to go represent the government in court.
Absolutely not. I dislike lawyers with a passion. So no, I'm not going to do anything like that. Not interested. I got a little Second Amendment thing for you here.
Let's hear it.
Of course, you know I am a proponent. And Newsom out in California and his minions in Sacramento passed a little thing called AB 1127 CA, California, which is a ban on all handguns that use a cruciform type trigger, which is all of the Glocks and all of the striker fired pistols that act like a Glock. Now, this is a tremendous number of handguns that California.
I'm sure there's going to be a line of crooks and violent people standing in line to give away their guns, right?
Well, sure.
That solves it.
They don't buy their guns at a gun store. They buy it out of the trunk of Jose's car.
That's right.
So they don't bother with any of the laws. Well, okay. California passed this nasty little thing, and before it even became law, the lawsuits were flying on it. And I forget which circuit court it was that threw that out. That said, and this is, believe it or not, in California, that said, absolutely not. This thing flies in the face of the Second Amendment. Yeah. This will ultimately come to the Supreme Court because California is going to appeal it. But to ban an entire style of handgun commonly used in the United States, there are millions and millions and millions of these things out there being used for lawful purposes. And for California to attempt to ban that, this was going to blow up in Newsom's face. It's fixing to happen. The fuse is lit. Nobody knows how long the fuse is, but this one's going to blow up in his face. So there's my bit of Second Amendment news. Watch this carefully because It's going to end up in front of the Supremes.
So
next.
who survives this now? Who survives the Democratic Party to become the next candidate for presidency of the candidate from the Democratic Nazis? I mean, who said that?
Yeah,
Stop that!
Oh no, I think there's a ventriloquist in your studio.
Oh God, I don't know how I did that, because that's their sayings. I don't.
Look at what they're putting forth right now. Now,
Yeah.
We got a few years yet before this thing comes to fruition, but they're talking Kamala Harris, AOC,
Yeah.
Pete Buttigieg. I mean, come on. These are, if you picked a list of the biggest losers in the Democrat Party, these guys are at the top of the list.
So who are the winners?
And you're going to shove these forward and say, we're going to make you the candidate for the president of the United States? I know Democrats that wouldn't vote for those clowns. What are they doing? Carville said the other day that this whole thing is folding in on itself. Now, the guy's a lunatic, okay, but he's right in this case. You guys can't come up with something better than this clown show?
I mean, there's only one guy I can think of, and he's going to stick with the Democrats, and that's Fetterman in
Fetterman's
Pennsylvania.
going to end up being a Republican before this is all done.
He's talked about that.
He's already headed towards independent.
I would think so. He
said that his Democrat Party left
I can't believe it.
He didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left him. And, the guy's, he's a moderate Democrat. There's nothing special about this guy. But the Democrat Party has gone so far left, this guy's starting to look like a Republican.
Oh, yeah.
And, oh, my God, John Kennedy is rolling over in his grave right now. This is so far from the party that he championed way back when.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Dave, this stuff is flying past us so fast. I have a hard time keeping up with it.
Well, look at all the Jewish guys like Schumer in that party. Schumer's done, I think. I think he's toast.
I think he's toast.
And how does he go against Israel like that? I mean, he's ashamed. He ought to resign. Shapiro out there, I think he's in what state is he in? Not Michigan.
State
Ohio?
of denial, I would say.
I don't think so. But that guy, he's not a bad guy, but he's a Democrat, and hell, they tried to burn his house down, and he's still a Democrat, and he's a Jew. Give me a break.
Yeah, and it was actually the Democrats that tried to burn his house down. I mean, come on. You couldn't make this stuff up. If you wrote this as a novel, no one would buy it because they'd say it's too far from reality. And we're seeing this stuff in the newspapers every day.
Yep.
Another one that just keeps getting better and better, and that's the SAVE Act in the Senate. John Thune is getting beat up daily by people as big as the President of the United States. POTUS is beating this guy up every 20 minutes because he won't bring the SAVE Act to a vote. And we discussed this briefly last week and the week before, that I don't know what this clown is playing, some political game, but at some point, this is going to be put to a vote. It's going to be discussed. And I think ultimately we've got some senators, I think there's 9 or 10 of them right now that say, we're not going on recess. We will not agree to go on recess. And that's typically done by unanimous consent within the Senate. Well, you have no unanimous consent. So these folks are going to stick around. And for
well, what do you think the problem is? Now he's saying, I don't have the votes. And Trump is saying, if you don't have the votes, bring it up anyways, because we can run against these people who vote against it, especially if they're Republicans. We can get them primary.
We want them to be on record, Republican and Democrat, with a Senate vote, yay or nay on this thing. And we're going to write down the names of those that said nay, particularly the Republicans. Now, you can expect the Democrats to run in lockstep on this thing. I doubt there'll be any that cross the aisle.
I don't know.
But the point is, I want them on record, congressional record, voting against this thing, because you're going to get primary the next go around. I can guarantee it. We don't want you in our Senate. And John Thune is he's in an untenable situation. The guy's going to get kicked out no matter what he does. There's enough folks there that say on both sides of the aisle that you're not doing this very well. And for whatever politics, and it's probably sleazy politics that he's tried to defend this, at some point it's going to come to a vote. Now, if they vote it down, okay, at least it has been voted on. Yeah. Now, there is a movement to get rid of the filibuster, the 60-vote requirement. And if we slide this thing in as a budgetary item, it only needs 51 votes to pass. Right. That's being worked on in the House right now. I don't know what the senators are doing about this. They've been strangely quiet about this whole thing. But yeah, this... Well,
you know, and as Trump says, and as the American people can see very clearly, that this is a vote to get people to have to produce some kind of identification, citizenship. You know, just your driver's license even will probably do it, and just show them that you're legal to have a vote in the United States of America. How simple is that? And how simple is it to conclude that if you are against this, you are going to be cheating in the next election?
Yes, that's the whole point. And you've made this point before, and so have I, that if you're against this thing, you're for cheating. What other reason would you have? Now, you've got to show an ID to cash a check. Yeah, you've got to show an ID for so very many things, and you wouldn't show an ID for what is possibly the most important single item in our country, and that is the sanctity of the vote.
Yeah,
these folks are. The Democrats are trying to die on a hill that's not very defensible here, Dave.
Yeah.
When you've got 80+% of Republicans and 74% plus of Democrats that are for this concept, maybe not for this particular piece of legislation, but for this concept, how can you as a senator defend potentially voting against it? How can you do that?
Yeah, I can. And as a matter of fact, I want to play a clip of somebody I know, number 2, if you don't mind, and get your unless you have to answer that.
I'll get this queued up.
Yeah,
real quick
number
so
2, so we can share it. And we gotta get the opinion of this guy and figure out what the hell's going on. So as soon as we get it, we're going to do it.
This is going to be a Carlin clip that's going to embarrass me.
Probably. I don't know.
There was surveillance footage of it. And on the surveillance footage, there's a woman counting ballots, and she pulls a trunk out of ballots underneath the thing.
Yeah.
And then goes to the Scantron and runs the ballots through 1 time, runs the ballots through 2 times, runs the ballots through 3 times. So they're triple counting ballots for Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
So a ballot for Joe Biden got counted 3 times in the system, and you could sit her and watch her do hundreds of those like that. And that right there, just on video, that looks like an extra 12,000 votes to me.
I want to know why there are not indictments.
There you go. Now, who was that wily guy that said that?
I don't know, but he's a very astute fellow, and he's handsome on top.
Yeah, they had a picture. He skipped that picture, and he was on a picture of what's his name in Pulitzer or Pulitzer, whatever it is. Yeah, Putz, as I call him.
Yeah, the Putz. I've seen that video in Fulton County, Georgia. The exact same one that he was talking about.
Yeah.
And I to this day, I want to know, where are the indictments when you've got this stuff on video, and it was done on security video. This is not something that AI created. This is plain old, everybody knew what it was video. And you run these things through 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times.
But it was more than that. It was more than that. They shut it down.
Yep.
They put cardboard hiding everybody.
Yeah.
And then they had these suitcases full of ballots underneath a table. Okay. They got that out, and they're running those through while they're doing this other stuff with these other ballots running Biden in their middle of the night. Everybody thought it was all over. And how many places did they do that in?
Well,
there's no doubt in my mind that this thing was a fraud election.
It was rigged. There's no doubt in my mind.
Now we got the proof.
Said that last week, say it again, I'll say it again next week. This was rigged. This whole thing was a sham. And all of those folks, including Mike Pence, who at one time I actually had some respect for, not anymore. I'd flush the guy if I had a chance. Mike Pence, who backed the Democrats on this.
How about that? Maybe he was involved.
Maybe.
You know, you have to wonder. What about Bill Barr?
You know, maybe somebody gave him $1.59 an hour. I don't know what they paid him off with, but the point is they were on the wrong side of this argument. And you know, it takes a little while, but that evidence gradually floats to the surface. And here these folks are. How can you deny these things?
The auto pen with a pardon attached to it. That's how you can do it. But that's not, as you have just proven today, the auto pen ain't enough.
This is going to blow up in their face.
I think so.
I hope it happens before the midterms. But even if it doesn't, I hope it happens, period. This is a country in which justice is supposed to come out on top, and it certainly has not yet. But I believe that it will. You know, these things grind along slowly. Now, Fulton County, Georgia, when you're caught on videotape doing this stuff, how can you deny this? Tell me how you can deny it. And Mr. Prosecutor, tell me why you have not issued indictments for these egregious acts. Now, it may happen, you know, these things grind along pretty slowly, but I want to see some action on this thing because the man in the street that's actually seen that video and read a little bit about this is sure these folks are guilty. And, you know, that's a tough one. How can you possibly deny this? That's the biggest question. How can you deny it? No thinking person can deny this.
They'll deny it because they want to cheat. And America's got to be told that this is what they're doing. And it's not by chance. It's not because, well, it's already done. It's like, you know, 4 or 5 years old or a couple years old or whatever it is. But it's because people cheated in an election. And that is a First Amendment right, isn't it, to have your vote counted?
Your vote is expected to count.
Yeah,
and the founding fathers of this country
they eradicated everybody. We all have a say in this because we have a right to our vote.
Our founding fathers never imagined that something like this could happen.
Yeah,
they founded this as a Christian country with some morals, and they could not have possibly expected this sort of thing to happen. Well,
I think they kind of did. I think they did everything they could to prevent it. I mean, look, this goes back to the Civil War, for goodness sakes, and before that even. People were trying to, shove everything up the rear end of the Republicans. They're called Democrats, and they were slaveholders.
Yes, this thing's going to blow up on them, Dave. You and I talk about the midterms all the time because this is something that's looming ahead of us. And typically, like I said to your guest host last week, the party in power usually does badly in the midterms.
Yeah.
That's been a tradition for a good long while.
JP's got something to say.
So, JJ, I agree with you. And my hope is we actually need this to blow up in their face by the midterms, because otherwise, if the wrong people get in with the wrong numbers, they could literally stop Trump for his last 2 years.
Yes, and they will if they possibly can.
Yeah.
You can expect if you get a Democrat majority in the House that we're going to see impeachment immediately. And will it go anywhere in the Senate? Hell, who knows? But that point is well taken, JP, that it is very important that the Republicans win the midterms. Now, beyond that, if the Republicans do maintain a majority, hey, we had a little power flop here.
Is that you? Is that your house?
That was a little power flop at my house.
How about that?
Yeah. Hey,
there you are. You're getting in color and non-color. You're getting dark.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, see, smart guy that I am, I'm running.
Go fix your lights. I got to get off and do a commercial. Okay.
Oh, we done? Okay.
Well, I got the rabbi coming on in a couple minutes.
It has been my honor, Dave.
Hey, it's my pleasure, and you know that. Let's hear it for JJ Bradshaw. Thank you, JJ, as always. Appreciate it. Let's do the commercials, and we'll get on with the rabbi very soon.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle, you don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments, that's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day. Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Bob Willis, an author and a writer, and I write nature books. I live here in a ranch on the Ozarks and have published many books over 2 decades of writing. The Trout Adventure series of books was about traveling the world with a camera and a fly rod. The Last Buffalo in Kansas is a true story about one family's journey through 100 years of American history. A couple of years ago, I decided to write a children's nature series of books. 2 of those books have been published. The Adventures of Dog is a story about a puppy that grows up on a ranch in the Ozarks and has fabulous adventures. The Adventures of the Cats R Us Gang is about a group of cats that band together to protect the ranch from a dastardly group of raccoons. Wonderful stories for children's, wholesome, about nature and the Ozarks. They're available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and in Walmart even. They're available locally at Reader's Depot. Hey, take a look at them. Thanks a lot.
At Town & Country Bank, we've got all the perks of a national bank, like online banking, quick loan approval, and you can deposit your check from your phone. But that's not why our customers love us. They love us because we still offer hometown customer service. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly team remind you how special hometown banking can be. We're locally owned and we'll take the time to understand your needs. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, we are back, and I see a friendly face all the way from across the world in Israel, and he is a good friend, and he's very smart, and he's a wartime rabbi. He spends your contributions on housing for IDF widows and their kids while bringing them to unify and cope. Please welcome Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. So a PD Terry tax database, Mayor Mamdani invoked for extra homes over $5 million estimated. Taxables are 31,000, but they sent out all these bills claiming that people in New York were hiding stuff. 960,000 now are guilty until proof of innocence. What do you know about this, Rabbi?
Well, all I know is that Mamdani so far is succeeding at driving people out of New York. And this is going to be another step. I think it's just going to, these are people that can afford to leave New York. These are people that don't need to be there. And all he's going to do is just create more of a cratering of the resources of the city, because the people with money who are employing people are going to be leaving, as they have been.
Yeah.
History has shown it doesn't work. It doesn't work tax to rich. What you forget is take 10 rich guys, and usually together they're employing 1,000 people or 10,000 people. It's like, so what are you going to do? The guys who are providing jobs, force them out of the city, make them. I mean, it's short-sighted. People get excited. Tax the rich. Tax the rich. It's and those 3 words are very populist. People love to hear that, but it's just it's silly, and it's a very bad strategy.
Where has this worked?
No, I said it hasn't worked anywhere. There's never been a place where it works.
So why do they keep doing it, and why do people keep falling for it?
Because you see, there are things in life that sound good, but they're silly. For 1,000 years, I'll give you an example from science.
Yeah.
For 1,000 years, people, if you would ask someone, why does an object fall? If I let go of it, why does it fall? So they'll tell you, because it has weight, right? It has weight. But if you take that same object that weighs 100 pounds out of the atmosphere where there's no gravity, it won't fall, even though it has weight. They didn't, and objects don't fall because they have weight. Objects fall because of gravity. Yeah. Now, until that was discovered, it made perfectly good sense. If I drop this, it's going to fall because it has weight. But it's scientifically completely 100% inaccurate. Things sound right, tax the rich. That's like saying things fall because they have weight. It isn't true. Taxing the rich does not succeed in bringing about equity. It does not conclude with more fairness in society. All it does is it destroys societies. Yeah. We've seen that over and over and over with the communist socialist experiments. The only thing that works is Adam Smith, good old capitalism. Let the rich employ others, tax their fair share, not these extraordinary things that they want to do.
So let's talk a little bit about elections. Bibi, for example, he's is he along on the road for Trump and Congress? Like always, his polls are low, but his picks are kicking butt. That would be both in Bibi's case and in the Republican candidates so far.
Right. I mean, right now in Israel, and the polls are always a question of who you're gonna, of which poll you're gonna look at.
Right.
But it doesn't have right now either the left or the right actually winning. That's a problem. If we would go according to most of the polls right now, Bibi could not form a government. But then again, neither could the left-wing parties form governments either.
Right.
So, we had numerous elections that ended up at a stalemate that we had to redo like 3 times. And then we had an election where they included the Arab Party here, which is anti-Israel, and that caused that government fell in quick order. So we'll see what happens. The election is not till October, which even though in real time it's only a couple months, but in political time that's like years away. So much can change between now and then. So we'll see. Bibi's, they call him the magician. He seems to pull everything out and he gets it done. I mean, right now he can't form a government according to the polls, but we'll see.
And really, they call him a warmonger. I mean, how many he's been in that position where he's been leader of Israel for how many years now? 20 or so?
No, a little bit less, about 14 years.
14 years. That's still huge.
It's the longest of any prime minister in the history of the state.
So how many times has he directed a war to gather land from somebody else in his time in leadership? In fact, when has Israel actually gone out and conquered people and took their land and took their women, took their whatever, anything?
Right. Israel has never started a war against a nation. We've only defended ourselves in wars, or the only time we've been aggressive is against countries that have threatened to exterminate us, like Iran. But Israel does not fight colonial wars to grab territory. Israel doesn't fight for the sake of money or land grabs and so on. It's only either in defense of itself as we are actively attacked, or preempting an attack against a country like Iran that threatens to literally nuke us. So,
what do you say to people who say Israel is a new country? It was born in 1948.
Right. Well, I'll tell them that they should go study a little bit of history. This is the 3rd time that Israel has been, quote unquote, reinstated. The 3rd time. So it means they just don't know any history. I mean, even if you don't believe in the Bible, the state of Israel existed, during the Second Temple period. It existed during the First Temple period. So they just, it doesn't matter if they don't believe in the Bible, but it's a historical fact that 1948 was just the reinstating of the state of Israel that existed beforehand.
There's a story about Napoleon who went into a French synagogue as the Jews were mourning the destruction of the synagogue. He was shocked by that, and he offered to rebuild it, and things like that. The rabbi told him that they were crying over the destruction of a synagogue burnt to the ground 1,700 years earlier, to which Napoleon responded, "Wow, a people who remembers this many hundreds of years will merit its rebuilding." Now, I don't know if that's how much of that is true or not, but
it's a true story. It's
Yeah.
it's true. And it wasn't a synagogue; it was the temple. They're mourning over the temple in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
But that's a very
What's the difference
famous
between a
story.
synagogue and a temple?
Right, the synagogues replaced when the temple stood. There were no synagogues. We were a temple-centered religion. So after the temple in Jerusalem was destroyed, and we went into exile, so they built synagogues in their towns to remind us as a remembrance of the grand temple in Jerusalem.
Going back to voting, I want to do a clip for you. Do clip 4 about Fetterman on Democrats.
Mhm.
All right, and we're gonna set it up first,
Okay.
and I think it's going to be on pretty soon. There he is. Maria Bartiromo is interviewing him. She's a really smart person, don't you think? I got a good interview with her and the rabbi. I mean, not the rabbi, Bibi Netanyahu.
Hassan Piker. I mean, how can you embrace people like that? That Hamas is 1,000% better than Israel. You know, if we became the kind of party that would embrace someone like Hassan Piker, you know, maybe my party doesn't want like a reasonable, common sense kind of Democrat that reminds people that standing with Israel, that at least used to be part of our core values. And one of the reasons why I've been proud to be a Democrat. Hassan.
Okay, so this guy is wavering on becoming a Republican, and I think he's getting pretty close, don't you think?
I do, but what I would say is, though, sometimes you can be more effective if you stay within the Democratic Party and try to fight from within. A Republican has to fight the Democrats. A Republican has to oppose the Democrats. But when you're within,
no, they don't. That's the problem.
Well, they do. You know, the Republicans, Democrats have different worldviews. That's the reality.
I know.
They're different worldviews, and so when you leave that, sometimes I'll give you an example here. The chief rabbi of Efrat is a guy named Rabbi Riskin, very smart guy, and many times he's been asked to join a political party here, and his response is always the same. He said, "I can be more effective not being part of it." And I think, Fetterman, his values are clearly more in line with the Republicans, but he can be very effective, having an influence on his own party if he stays there. Not that I think he's going to do that. I think he is going to jump ship, but I think
he can be an independent, can he?
Yeah, he can become an independent.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if someone's a Mets fan, okay, you have certain expectations. He's a loser. You know, that's how it is.
You're looking. Are you looking in a mirror or something? Or
yeah,
what?
maybe just a little bit. You know, and it's,
sadly, I'm a Cardinals fan, kind of, and they're going down the tubes too. After a good start, mind you.
Well, we didn't even have a good start.
Yeah,
actually, we won the first game of the season, but after that, it went down.
That was it, huh?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. The Mets actually have the best record historically of opening day of any team.
Yeah,
we always.
What's the record after that?
I'm saying opening day we're great. You know.
Yeah. Too bad there's 161 more games. So our rabbi, our Trump and Bibi aligned right now. Trump, is fixing on bombing the Shiite out of Iran.
Yeah, well, they met this week. Very important meetings, and they're both saying that they're on the same page. And I kind of gave up trying to figure out what the heck is going on because they say one thing, they do something else. They say this and they do that. It's very, very difficult to say anything because I think there's a lot of subterfuge there. There's a lot of things going on beneath the surface that they're not saying.
No, they claimed all the submarines were underwater. So
yeah, exactly. So
they're blown up.
Yeah, like my bank account. But it's very, very complicated. Like on the one, for 12 days in a row, 13 days in a row, the U.S. bombs Iran, and then they stop, and Donald Trump says, "Hey, let's." I think they want to negotiate,
make a deal.
And people here are like, "What? Do you actually think these guys are trustworthy? Do you really think the Iranians are ever going to make a deal that they're going to actually keep?" And like people are like scratching their heads.
Let's go a little deeper into that because there's a history. Obviously, you know that, and I'm not sure everyone else does. 1979, Jimmy Carter pretty much gives the country of Iran to 20% of its population, which is Shia Islam, and the rest of them are pretty much Persians, even some Jews and other people there. But tell us what happened after that.
Yeah, I mean, but then for the last 40 years, the country's been completely radicalized. More than 47 years, completely radicalized, become these militant jihadis that believe that the world has to be destroyed to usher in their Messiah vision. And president after president just kind of kicked the can down the road and didn't deal with the issue of Iran, even though thousands of American servicemen were killed. They're developing long-range missiles to hit Europe, potentially at some point to hit the West Coast of the United States.
Yeah.
And president after president just kicked the can down the road without confronting Iran.
Actually, Jimmy Carter gave this gift to Iran, and then it was backed up, forgetting that he didn't give him a lot of money. But then you had Barack Hussein Obama, and then you had Joe Otto Penn Biden, and they gave him a lot of money, and this made them able to shut down the rest of the population and murder about 50, 60,000, including some 3,000 Americans.
Right. Look, they talk about, genocide, here in Gaza, which is a lie, but they killed in Iran in one day, right? They killed more in one day than Israel killed since the beginning of the war in Gaza 3 years ago.
Yeah, but you know what you hear when you talk about that, JP? You know what you hear about that? That's what you hear.
Exactly.
Because when it's about Israel, we're being blamed for all this these crimes that never happen. The crimes that never happen, and they don't want to mention 10/7/23. Nobody wants to mention that.
Right.
Jews seemingly now, other than I don't know when this happened, but how much anxiety is there in Israel and all around the world about the fact that we're being picked on all time at an all-time high by everybody?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of anxiety. You don't see Jews walking in and blowing themselves up to cafes. You don't see Jews opening fire like you had in Sydney, Australia. You don't see Jews acting out the same way you have these jihadis all over the world. And Jews are legitimately afraid. We're not a violent people. We're not a people that will commit random acts of violence. We'll defend ourselves for sure. But we are subject to a lot of physical attacks over the last 3 years in London, in Sydney, in New York, in California, in Pittsburgh, and in Montreal, wherever major Jewish populations have been under attack. And and what you'll hear online, you hear the stupidity saying, "Oh, you get what you deserve because Israel's killing Palestinians in Gaza." Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Number one, it's wrong. We're not killing innocent people in Gaza. Number two, even if Israel was doing that, what is a Jew sitting in California have to do with that, right? He's not an Israeli. He's just a Jew in California. And it's there's a lot to be fearful of these days, being a Jew in the diaspora.
You gotta watch yourself all over the world.
So I feel very exposed when I'm in America. Here, I walk around with a sidearm. In America, I feel very exposed everywhere I go.
Sure.
Like,
do you wear your yarmulke around in America?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't want everyone to see my bald spot, so it helps.
Yeah, right. Yeah, tell me. Yeah, I got a bald spot too. It's my whole head. But you know what? I tried to put a hat on.
Big yarmulke.
I can't do it because my face darkens. I don't know. It's something to do with the lights in this room. I have a bald head that actually brings light to people. Is that right, honey?
Oh, daily. Yes, I do that at home.
Stop it.
If you wax it, you can get some shine off.
How'd you know I waxed it? Oh my God!
It's always so shiny.
It is. It's very shiny.
It's very shiny.
Yeah.
So it beats my lousy hair before. I'll tell you that. So let me ask you a biblical question here, because I'm not that. I seem to have some knowledge of it, but I don't have a total knowledge of it. Is Satan mentioned in the Hebrew Bible?
Yes, he's mentioned 17 times, but it's not mentioned in the same way. The Jewish understanding of Satan is not the same as a Christian one.
What is it? What's the difference?
Well, from my understanding, the Christian view of Satan is Satan exists outside of God. He's a fallen angel. Judaism says there's no such thing of any beings, spiritual beings, that exist outside of God. And Satan is simply a creation of God who does God's bidding, in this world, to challenge people, to make things difficult in order to test people, and so on and so forth. And if you see, like in the book of Job, God has to give him permission. He cannot act on his own to harm Job without God giving him permission.
So God is still in charge.
Correct. He's
whatever that is. Because
the same way that there are angels.
Yeah.
There's Satan is an angel whose mission is to be an adversary, but he's part of the team. It's like you have different employees in your work. You have the guy who runs the register.
So he's still working for God.
Correct. He's on the payroll.
But now tell me if I'm wrong. The Christian analogy is that he's a fallen angel, and he hates God, and he wants
and he exists outside of God. He's but Judaism doesn't say that. He's an employee. He's on the payroll.
Well, for me, what I would say as a business guy, I would if God was in charge of him, I'd fire his ass.
No, but God created him and they gave him that role.
I know, but you're saying the Jewish role. The Christians believe that he's trying to take over for God. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So it never sounded right to me, because God is all powerful.
Right.
So if God didn't like him, or he changed, or whatever, he'd get rid of him.
Right.
So
we definitely differ there.
Yeah. Okay. So Jews used to change locations to improve their lives. Now they are relocating because of safety. You want to comment on that?
Obviously, you don't mean in Israel, but
are some people coming back to Israel because of this?
Yeah, that's for sure. But you have a lot of, for example, Jews from New York who've moved to Florida because they feel that in Florida it's much more sympathetic towards Jewish people there with DeSantis. Now, I personally think it's just a Band-Aid. The Muslims are, they are. I'm not sure if this is correct, but I think I don't know, 10 years ago, there were 3 million Muslims in America. Now it's 9 million. It just keeps growing very rapidly. So I think it's a Band-Aid.
Especially after Biden let 20 million people in the country. They don't even know how many people they've gotten, especially children.
Right.
There's a lot of children out there.
The same way, France, England, Germany, they're losing their countries. America's going to be the same. And they want to spend all day shouting from the rooftops how Israel, genocide, Israel, this. Yeah. They're ignoring the main issue, and that is the Muslims are taking over the United States.
Exactly. I did my monologue on that.
Yeah. And the American people, they're focused on the wrong thing. The young people are so angry at Israel that they want to spend their time.
But they're being taught that in college, and we're not having enough people talking about this and why it's happening, and that's where we come in. That's where I come in, and you come in on my show, and we talk about this. And I post on media and things like that, and I fight these people who don't like Jews on media.
They don't realize that good old American values are the same here in Israel, and America are really in sync. And what you have the Muslims, their strategy is trying to create distance and to create daylight between America and Israel, and they're succeeding with the young people. And they're trying to paint Israel in this image that is made up of 100% lies in order to create that distance. And they're unfortunately succeeding with countries like Qatar pumping billions of dollars into the universities, and their strategy is they've been doing this for a decade. It's the long-term plan to try to influence the next generation of politicians.
Here's a confusing one, and that's China does this too. And Trump he's actually okay with that. I don't understand where he's coming from, because he's got a potential. He's got a potential person that first of all poisoned this country with COVID, along with Fauci, and he's also maybe helping Iran right now.
I have no idea. Trump is helping Iran?
No, Trump is okay with President Xi of China. I think he's
China helping Iran.
China is out.
I thought for a second you meant maybe Fauci is helping Iran.
No, Fauci. Fauci is the guy that promoted.
Yeah, I know he is. Yeah.
Did you see what he did with Congress yesterday?
Taking the Fifth Amendment.
111 fifths, and that's incredible. That might be a record.
Is that a world record?
I don't know. Could have been one more, 112. I don't know. But that was the worst thing I've ever seen for a particular person who was supposed to be a doctor, who is now responsible for who knows how many millions of lives, how many millions of people had to stay home, how many millions of people, how many school children didn't go to their proms, didn't go to play football, how many of them stayed home and did nothing. That's horrible thing to do.
Right. All right. Well, I haven't really been watching. All I saw was the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth.
That's all you could see. But it was interesting, anyways. Other than Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people contribute and buy your book?
They can go to the website, secretsofthehebrewbible.org. They can pick up a copy of the book, or go to israelalliance.org or facebook.com/Global Israel Alliance. Love to hear from you.
Rabbi, have you heard about the failed saint?
The failed saint.
Saint, yeah.
St. Louis?
No, the failed saint. Now he's an ain't.
All righty.
Rabbi, listen, I had one more question here, and what was it? Damn. Now I can't remember. Oh, well. What are you going to do?
Well, I wanted to know if JP gave Bill a copy of my book.
Yeah, that was excellent. By the way, that interview with him was gangbuster.
So not yet, but I'm going to make sure that he gets a copy for sure. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, Shabbat Shalom.
All right, guys. Great to talk to you.
Yeah, great talking to you too. Let's hear it for Rabbi Moshe Rothschild.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, my friend.
Shabbat Shalom. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, we're back. Do we have anything on the clips? I wonder if that affected that, because we're not getting very many messages. By the way, if you want to call the show, 573-578-2700, or
you can also reach us and comment on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble.
Patricia Odin Maxwell, sounding good, looking good. Go team. Roy Maddox, I'm sure this was for JJ. Hello from Oklahoma. Hello there. Hello. Kathy Dill on 1577. Good morning and happy Friday. Oh, Kathy Dillon. There it is. Love you all. Have a wonderful and blessed weekend, and thank you so much for all your support. I appreciate
Obviously,
you.
this Kathy Sanford Dillon, who's usually on Facebook, and now she's watching today on YouTube. That's where the comment came from. So,
oh, cool. Okay. What else do we got? That's why I didn't recognize her calling number. Welcome back, Dave. Oh, thank you. John Jeffrey Bradshaw, sorry about going overtime. I got carried away. No, you're fine. But I do have to do commercials sometime. Rico Camino, good morning. I know he knows Rick Henderson. So, and I did mention his name, didn't I? I thought I did. Yep. Rich Crane, was that?
What's that?
Was there another one? Rich? Oh, Rick. Okay.
Rico.
Yes, right. Okay, so let's see. It's the 9:12. We got Chris Adamo next. Oh, I was going to ask him about, and I forgot. What is it? We have Wyden Phares coming on.
Oh, yeah.
Walid Phares coming on.
Phares, yeah.
I wanted to ask the rabbi about him, and that's because I'm sure he knows about him.
Yeah, we avoided a major potential issue there. I was texting back and forth with him to get his website and all that for his appearance, and he said, hey, I may have a conflict. What? I may need to come on at 11:15 and all that. And I said, well, we got another guest coming on at
11:15.
Well, Eastern time, so 10:15.
Yeah.
And I said, we have another guest comes on 15 minutes after that. And luckily they figured it out in his office. And so now we got it straightened out. He's going to be on at the normal time. But I was texting with him back and forth.
Because I got a really good joke for him.
Oh, yeah.
So,
he'll be on.
So let's, if you want to talk to me directly, you can call 573-578-2700, or you can leave a message for me. I'll try to get to all of these after I do the show. Even we get into conversations, people look me up and call me an idiot or whatever, and I will respond to that. Not harshly, but you can give me whatever you think, and I will fight. I will fight for what I think is the truth. If you can convince me you're right and I'm wrong, I'll say so.
That doesn't work at home.
That's right. You're always right, honey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was
come
thinking.
on.
You read my mind.
We kind of reach you. We kind of, I got more jokes involving you, so it's really good. I get a lot of jokes out of her.
And just so everybody's aware, our internet is still a little unstable. We're still on. The picture's a little fuzzy because of that. It'll probably end up clearing up, but just stick with us. If we go off screen for a second, we're still here. Don't leave.
And look who else is here right behind me. That's Donald Trump right there. How's that? All right, we're going to do commercials and buy where my people out there who are sponsoring the show buy their stuff. We'll be back in a little bit.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word? But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day. Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Rob Willis, an author and writer, and I write nature books. I live here in a ranch on the Ozarks and have published many books over 2 decades of writing. The Trout Adventure series of books was about traveling the world with a camera and a fly rod. The Last Buffalo in Kansas is a true story about one family's journey through 100 years of American history. A couple of years ago, I decided to write a children's nature series of books. 2 of those books have been published. The Adventures of Dog is a story about a puppy that grows up on a ranch in the Ozarks and has fabulous adventures. The Adventures of the Cats R Us Gang is about a group of cats that band together to protect the ranch from a dastardly group of raccoons. Wonderful stories for children, wholesome, about nature and the Ozarks. They're available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and in Walmart even. They're available locally at Reader's Depot. Hey, take a look at them. Thanks a lot.
Maybe it's for a kitchen you've always wanted. Maybe it's just to have a little extra room. Whatever the reason you're considering a new home loan, it's good to know that Town & Country Bank will guide you in the right direction. Our experienced local lenders are here to help you with a new home construction, remodeling projects, and fixed and adjustable rate home loans. You can even start the process online by clicking Online Mortgage Center at tcbanks.com. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for you and your former defense minister for genocide. What is your response to this?
Well, the one who promoted that was the ICC, the International Criminal Court prosecutor, who has since been completely exposed as a criminal. He himself was going to face charges of sexual harassment by 2 women. He knew that. And he was going to come to Israel, and he spoke warmly about Israel's judicial system and the fact that there has to be an extensive investigation before any conclusions are gone. And on the day that he was supposed to visit Israel, he canceled everything, called a news conference, and accused me and the former defense minister of war crimes. Now, we learned why. Because a few days before that, he was basically confronted by his chief of staff, who said, these 2 employees of you, female employees of yours, are going to charge you with the sexual crimes. So he thought, how am I going to divert my criminality to something that will protect me? And the best way, he thought, was Israel bashing, and frankly, bashing me, and thereby getting the envelope, the protection of all the anti-Israel crowd. And that's basically what he did, and it worked for a while. But then the truth came out. By various organizations, including the left-wing newspapers, The Guardian. And as it came out, he lost his job. He thought, if there's an indictment, I'm going to have a job. There was an indictment, and he lost his job because he was removed by a vast majority of nations who knew that he was a con job. So his name is Karim Khan. He pulled a con job. And I think that tells you that the whole thing that the mayor of New York is basing himself on, this criminals, bogus charges. That's what he's using. And look at what he's doing. He's fomenting hate. He's supposed to be the mayor of all New Yorkers, Jews, Christians, Muslims, everyone. But he's trying to turn one group against the other, and he's foisting hate and fear. I speak to Jewish Americans in New York, and they're afraid right now. And I don't think it's accidental that after he made this hate speech against Israel and against me, the next day, a Jew is stabbed coming out of a synagogue. I think, and with a cry of Allah is Akbar, Allah Akbar. And you know what that means. So I think that it's shameful. This thing is very bad for New York. I think it's very bad for peace. But the answer to your question, I intend to come and speak the truth, speak for Israel and for the Israeli-American alliance from the podium of the United Nations.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to be looking for a really cool, really funny situation that's happening in women's basketball, of all things. And there's this, obviously, boy, I look very blurred in that. Obviously, we have this one gal, Caitlin Clark, who is just the best female basketball player there was. In fact, I used to watch her when she was at University of Iowa, I believe, and amazing, just amazing. And you got that ready? And then she's got her friend. Oh, let me keep going for a while.
Yep.
Yeah, and so she's got this gal that plays with her. She used to play for University of Missouri. And she's a pretty good player, but boy, is she tough. And boy, is she, and she's also loving the fact that they play in a league and can say things like, we don't want men in our league playing against us. And she's getting a lot of crap for that, but amongst women, She's an all-star, and watch what she does in this clip. This is how popular she's gotten. Hit it.
She's cute and she's funny, she should make more money, and she can wear a swimsuit, man, oh man. Her finger, it is magic, to others it is tragic, but she's not afraid to take a stand. Now hand her the mic, she's about to set it right. It's Sophie, we're your number one fan.
Hello, Miss Thang. My name is Angel. Okay, Miss Thang, Angel, listen up. 10 points. I need the over-under. How many more points would your team score if you would just never shoot the ball?
You suck! Drop the mic and take a hike, 'cause that is the end. She's cute and she's funny, she should make more money, and she can wear a swimsuit, man, oh man. Her finger, it is magic, to others it is tragic, but she's not afraid to take a stand. Now hand her the mic, she's about to set it right. It's Sophie, we're your number one fan.
Hello, Miss Thang. My name is Angel. Okay, Miss Thang, Angel, listen up. 10 points. I need the over-under. How many more points would your team score if you would just never shoot the ball?
You suck! Drop the mic and take a hike, 'cause that is the end.
Okay, we're back. I tell you, I got my eyes are teared up from this. They had a little demonstration there about this in one of the games. I think it was in Seattle, and there was young kids in there, and they had a sign up. Young kids sign up about men should not play against women, and one of the owners of the Seattle team, a woman, started screaming at these kids, using profanity and all this things against them, and they weren't worth their parents or anybody, and they scared the hell out of these kids, and Seattle had to come out and say they're very sorry for this. They want to be good to everybody, and then Cunningham came out and blasted him. And so now she's got another thing that's good. She got this from pointing that finger at this guy. Now, I have a question for JP here. Who was that actually that angel girl that she was talking to, or was it a stand-in?
That it looks like it was maybe Angel Reese, but I think that was all just AI. Obviously, they didn't actually have that interaction, but I think it was a real
I
thing
wonder,
of her.
maybe if she was offered some money, to be in that, I think she might have done it. I don't know if she'd have that much sense to be able to understand that. Hey, I can make $10,000 here.
I don't know.
It's kind of interesting. I figured you'd know because you know all these women, don't you?
I don't know them, but I think it's very cool that Sophie Cunningham went to Mizzou, and now here she is becoming a huge figure for the WNBA.
And you knew how good Caitlin was.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, is
big
she
Caitlin
good?
Clark fan. Yeah.
Yeah. So am I. In fact, I was watching a game with when my wife was watching me watch this basketball game years ago when she was with Iowa, and she says, "Why are you watching women basketball?" I says, "I don't know." A football player, but still I understand the game, and she was excellent. And she actually just now set a record amongst women. Nobody's even come close to this, to where she is compared to the men's league, like Michael Jordan and others. And she's actually done better than all of them, but with one being men and one being women. Yep. Anyways, speaking of people who don't play basketball, I don't think my next guest is there, and maybe he does. I don't know. He might play basketball, but he is an author, Marxism, communism expert. Boy, we got a lot to talk to today. Great American patriot, please welcome Wyoming's lasagna pizza man, Chris Adamo. Okay, yeah, you're looking at me like, what, is he being nice to me all of a sudden? I had to pop that right in there.
You actually nailed a bunch of things today, including the fact that I do not play basketball. I was coordinated from here to here. I played piano. I was not one of those kids that got out on the athletic field except when I absolutely was made to. So
I love basketball, and I was never tall or anything, but I'd like to get in the games and
I can enjoy watching the game. But I'm telling you what, when it came to athletic stuff, that was, God bless me in lots of ways. Athletic ability wasn't one of them. So,
that's all right.
Yeah.
That's okay. No problem. You're still a fighter, though. You're still a fighter. You're fighting for right here.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got to fight. There's so much going on right now.
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you my first question, because I probably won't get another one in, because you'll just.
I do have about 4 things I really would like to cover. In all seriousness,
does a person like Dr. Fauci understand how devastating his testimony, 111 Fifth Amendments, was? How devastating it was to not only the Republicans. It wasn't devastating to the Republicans. It was devastating to the Democrat, and how they theoretically tried millions of lives all over the world. They destroyed them.
Yeah, I don't want to leave out the theoretically. It was pretty obvious from the start with the whole COVID thing. A couple of things. First of all, now the one part I will concede, we still don't know if it accidentally got out or if it was unleashed on purpose. My guess is that it accidentally got out, but they said, okay, it's out. We've got to go ahead, because they had an agenda and they were going to do this thing. They were going to get it perfectly ready, and it may have gotten out a little ahead of them, but they said, okay, we're going to implement our plan anyway, because from the moment it got out, it was, how do we seize control of society with it?
Now, wait a minute. You're confusing me a little bit, because you're saying got out. Are you talking about the Wuhan lab, where the actual illness, the actual
COVID virus got out?
Out?
Yeah.
You're saying that we don't know how that got out? I think we do, don't we?
Well, we don't know specifically if they went out and said, okay, it's time to unleash it, and they went out and infected people, or if something broke and something happened and it accidentally got out of the lab before they expected. But we do know that they were absolutely working on, they call it gain of function, which a lot of us didn't really know what that meant for a long time. They're making it as lethal as possible. They were probably, and I'm guessing this, they were probably making it lethal, but trying to make sure that they had a safety valve so that the certain people they could inoculate or whatever that wouldn't get it, and the rest of us would. Okay. And what happened at some point, it got loose, but they said, all right, it's out. It's going to cause havoc. How do we maximize the political impact of this havoc to our benefit as much as possible? And that's where, I mean, Fauci was involved in the whole gain of function thing. But when the one thing I've been telling people all week, Fauci needs absolutely to pay a severe penalty for what he did. And I'll let you decide what that is for mass murder that he facilitated. Yeah. However, we've got to be careful, because what Democrats will do, what the globalists will do, is they'll take any of their people. They did it to Joe Biden during the campaign season in 24. They'll take any of their people and they'll throw them under the bus and say, okay, that's it. They're gone. Everything's fixed. Okay?
Which people would they be taking and throwing under the bus?
In this case, it would be Fauci. Okay, Fauci was the evil bad guy. Go ahead, draw him, quarter him, stake him to an anthill, do whatever you want.
Well, that's not the attitude the Democrats had during this this hearing in the Senate.
Okay, right now they're going to
covering
run
for the guy. Okay, right. They're not smart enough to do what you're saying they should do, which is get rid of Fauci.
But at the last minute, they will do that, and they'll say, okay, you got your pound of flesh, we're done, go away. Now, Fauci was one of many,
that's right,
many evil people who did their best. I have a personal friend. I'm not going to mention names here, but I have a personal friend.
No.
Thanks. You're back to being Dave. Okay.
I'm one of them.
This is a lady married for many years to her husband.
Yeah.
He was having problems breathing, so she sent him to a hospital. She specifically told them no ventilators. She goes back, go home to do whatever. She goes back to the hospital. He's on a ventilator. Well, he was getting what did they say? He was acting disturbed or something. He was getting he was
well, the hospital makes big money off of that. They make huge amounts.
He died a few hours later.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I mean, we all know people like this. Okay.
We know it. Everybody knows it. I knew it.
I could tell you back in Wyoming, in the little county where I came from, back in Wyoming, Platte County, Wyoming, southeastern Wyoming, there was a doctor there, and he was prescribing hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin.
Yeah.
He's an old guy, and it's like, hey, this stuff works. I'm going to give it to people. He treated 500 patients with HCQ and ivermectin. He didn't lose a single one of them. You know what happened? The whole rest of the hospital, the conglomerate, the cooperative that they have, the whole rest of them, they booted him out. Okay. And so there's something.
Out? Who booted him out?
The little hospital cooperative there that they have, I think it's called Banner Health or something. But the point is
they picked death instead of life.
Exactly. It's no more. Well, they did it because they were under the gun, because if they didn't, they were going to get their licenses pulled.
Yeah. How about that? All about money.
And
what it was.
I could tell you, Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, she literally threatened doctors with being charged with a felony if they prescribed hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin. Okay, now it's one thing for me to tell you, you know, Dave, okay, you've got a stomach ache, and I say, take an aspirin. Well, that doesn't help your stomach ache. You're taking something you really don't need. It doesn't help. Okay, it's one thing to do that, but it's another thing to say you absolutely can't take this particular medication, which it's ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. They don't have side effects. They don't have dangerous side effects. You could take them out of you could take a pills right now. It wouldn't affect you adversely one bit. You may not need them, but
I have a little story about that. I have a person that is very close to me, and she happens to have parents, one of which was a animal doctor, and he gave the horses ivermectin.
Ivermectin, yep.
Right. And that person is sitting next to me right now. It's my wife, and she fed me after we got sick. She fed me ivermectin to get better. All right, and we did.
Yep.
And I called my doctor in St. Louis. This is this January of 21, this doctor who I've had for 25 years, he says, okay, well now you got to take shots. I says, well, why do we
which shot?
Take
the vaccine?
COVID shot. Yeah. I says,
now,
why?
Tell me something. If you had it,
you
had the. I mean, they never in history, people you have chicken pox, we're going to give you the vaccine.
Yeah.
You have measles, we'll give you no, they never ever did that. That's insanity.
Well, that's what I said. I said we've got the blood protection and all that stuff.
Exactly. You've got the antibodies if you had it.
Yeah, antibodies and stuff. And he says, no, you still got to take it. And I says, look, I looked this up on the VAERS thing from the CDS. I says there's a ton of deaths over this. And he says, well, I only look at the New England Journal of Medicine. And I says, okay. I looked in the New England Journal of Medicine, and guess what's in there? The VAERS report. I called him up and says, I got news for you. He says, yeah, I heard about the it's in there. I says, yeah, and guess what? You're fired.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I will tell you this: since Obamacare, the whole medical community has been fundamentally transformed. Remember, Obama is going to fundamentally transform
the country,
and it's I do know trustworthy doctors. This one back in Platte County that I mentioned, everybody knows who he is back there. but we happen to find one here that we're real happy with, that they don't go along with the orthodoxy. However, there is the medical establishment it's just a branch of the political establishment these days. And so, yeah, you're seeing this is why I said they'll make at the last minute. I'm count on this. They will make Fauci the scapegoat if they have to. They'll throw him under the bus if they have to. And then, well, okay, we have to admit Fauci's a bad guy. Now, if you bring it up, it's well, you're bringing up old news. No, there is a whole network. And Governor Cuomo of New York at the time was putting infected seniors in nursing homes where the most vulnerable people are. And he's putting them in there and infecting them. They were maximizing, same thing, Inslee, Governor Inslee in Washington State. They're maximizing the incidence of this so that they could scream at Trump and say that it's the Trump pandemic and everything. And
he took a lot of these people out of homes.
Yeah,
out of old people's homes and put them in these ventilators.
Yeah, and
this is cruel and unusual.
Oh,
punishment.
it's
murder.
It's absolute murder. It's proof that your leftist ideology, and I'm going to, by the way, include rhinos on leftist ideology, and I want to go into that here real quickly. Okay. But your leftist ideology sees human life as expendable. Now, you know that they do it in the case of abortion at one end of the life spectrum when you're an unborn baby. They do it throughout. If it's convenient to them to sacrifice you, then it's not their problem. You're part of the political machine that they're going to get chewed up and devoured. And so, yes, we're dealing with sheer evil. I can give you several other incidents of sheer evil. I just got a message from General Flynn talking about Spain, 50,000 Moroccans in 24 hours. 50,000. Okay.
15 or 50?
50, 50.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it. I'm on that.
Okay. Now, why is that way? Islam has not gotten stronger. This is the thing. I can't emphasize this enough, people, if you're listening. Islam is not getting stronger and stronger. This is what Islam has been for the last 12 centuries. It's what it always was. Brutality, force, murder, eventually, rape, everything else. This is what Islam was, okay? They haven't changed. What has changed is in the last 60 years here, since the mid 20th century, what has changed is Western civilization has gotten weaker. Okay, now I'm gonna if JP's got my book there, we can hold it up. If you haven't read my book, thank you so much, JP. This guy's great, by the way, Dave. You need to give him a raise. You need to give him a raise. If you haven't got my book, people, you need to get it. You need to read chapter 6, because chapter 6 explains why all of this stuff is happening. Chapter 6 deals with our moral certitude as Americans. One of the big thrusts of the whole leftist Marxist Alinsky strategy has been to destroy our moral certitude. You don't have the right to say something's wrong. Okay, I have the right to, as a leftist, I have the right to promote my ideology in every respect, because it's virtue, it's DEI, it's inclusive, it's tolerance, blah, blah, blah. And they promote this evil ideology. But in the meantime, anything you do to try and rebut it, you're being hateful, intolerant, judgmental, you're homophobic. We got all kinds of names for you. Transphobic now, nationalist, we can go down the list here. Okay.
Sure.
And this is how the left, not just in America, but across the world, has dismantled and undermined our moral certitude to say something is wrong. And then they promote sheer evil, and they say it's okay. And what do you got? You got Pakistani rape gangs in England. These Moroccan marauders
they're all men. There's no women.
Military age men. And you know what they're doing now that they're
going to overtake the country, and they're going to reproduce by raping the women in Spain.
And you're supposed to abort your babies because we have global warming and too much. We have to do population control. Okay, these Moroccan men, by the way, once they got across the border, they are literally forcing their way into local residences.
Right.
they're forcing their way in, and they're using like the Spanish law about squatters. They're using that they get in, and it said, well, it's difficult to get them out because of these laws. Now, I'll tell you something. At the moment,
the police aren't even doing anything about it.
No. And what do the citizens do? What does an average family do if some you mentioned military-aged Moroccan men, if several of them break into your window and say, hey, we now live here? What do you do about that? In America, it's different for the moment. What do? You go to the gun cabinet and say, no, this is an American home. Get out or else. Okay. Or maybe you're not that patient and they don't ever get in the first place. But think about the number one thrust of Obama when he got in with Fast and Furious and everything else he was trying to do is to undermine and destroy the Second Amendment. Now, it
with
didn't
the
happen.
IRS go to IRS going to 85,000 with guns. Okay. Well, aimed at American citizens.
Absolutely. Obama wanted he referred to it as something like a civilian police force or something.
Task force,
And this is what it was. Now Trump has fixed that, but here's the thing. This is why, and I sound alarmist today because there's a lot going on.
There is.
Here's how close we are to this. The Republicans are sitting on their thumbs. I'm talking about John Thune and the rest of them. They're not going to pass the SAVE Act. They're not pushing for it. Okay. And if the Democrats get control of the U.S. Senate this fall and the U.S. House, either or, they get then our legislative effort is shut down. Okay. The plan is to do that, claim Trump is a lame duck, and see a lame duck presidency. Then you blame them for everything. And if they get the White House in the fall or in 2028, and they've got the Senate and House, if they can turn that table, they're going to make the Supreme Court like a 15-member Supreme Court. They're going to appoint 6 liberal lunatics immediately. And at that point, they're going to somehow declare the Second Amendment null and void.
And they're going to abolish the presidency. There'll be somebody will be assigned to that. Okay.
Well, they already did that. Yeah, we saw that in 2020. I mean, yeah.
They're going to get rid of the Senate, and the House.
Or the thing is, either they get rid of it or they fill it full of puppets.
Yeah, whatever.
And believe me, they're busy doing that.
They've already done that. Joe Biden and his auto pen people.
Exactly. I sound alarmist, but this is absolutely going on. Okay. And nothing, I mean, if I had told you in 2015 what was going to happen with the whole COVID thing in 2020, you'd have said, hey, calm down, Chris. Come on. This is a little bit, it can't possibly be that radical. We saw something happen that we never expected. Okay.
Well, nobody in 2015, I think, knew what was going to happen. Fauci knew about it in 2017. He warned.
They operate this way with the expectation that we're going to be dismayed. We are, and that ultimately we're really not going to do anything. It's sadly, this is what has happened. You've heard me many times talk about the stolen 2020 election. That they screamed so loudly that it was the safest election, that was the most secure election in American history, that by the end of the week, we're afraid to call it a stolen election, and we're saying possible voting irregularities. Each step of the way, this is what you're seeing in Spain. Each step of the way, they count on the fact that whatever they do, that our side is not going to have the resolve to actually come against it. Sadly, this has been a safe bet on their part. Let me take this just briefly to, we've got coming up in just a few days, the Missouri primary.
Yeah.
And
so give us some Missouri voting advice.
Well, I'm going to give you the overall voting advice because of the fact that there is so much fraud, so much lying going on, including in the Republican Party. This is a primary election. So
including my studio. I've got all these, Bill Hardwick and Mayhew, Don Mayhew. They have both monitored this show. Okay, at different times, and once last year they did it. They did the whole show.
And I was in on one a few weeks back. With
So
Don Mayhew.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Okay. Now the thing is that there are so many lies. I have right now in our district. I'm not going to mention names just yet, but right now in our district here, in the other side of the state, we have two guys that are Republicans that both of them are accusing the other one of being a total liar. Okay.
Right.
The only thing I'm going to suggest, and I'm investigating, trying to find who in the world do I vote for. Okay. I'm going to suggest ivoterguide.com.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a national conservative Christian organization that assesses them. You go there, you put in your address. They'll tell you these are the people in your district that you can vote for these different offices. And they got like a little meter that says liberal to conservative. And you can see, this guy is way over here on the left. This guy is right here. And this one's over here. Okay. You can take that and use that to assess them. It's their best assessment because, again, there's so much dishonesty going on that it's hard to tell. Now, having said that, I'm going to say one thing that I'm emphatic about that we've got to do, and that's Amendment 4. The big money coming from Soros against Amendment 4, Soros and his kind.
What is Amendment 4?
Amendment 4, it's a state constitution ratification process. Okay, right now you have a simple, if you put an amendment proposal on the ballot, you get 51%. It's ratified instantly. It's the Constitution. Now, understand, a constitutional amendment is not a law. It's a framework for law. Okay. Yeah. So it has a much bigger impact than just if this is a law, we want to say, kids can't buy cigarettes until they're 21 years old. We pass a law. The Constitution Amendment says that from this point forward, you have to go through this process for whatever law. Okay. And so it has a much bigger impact. And right now, what you have is you have all of Missouri, which is deep red heartland America.
Right. And
you have St. Louis, a blue sewer, and you have Kansas City on the other end, a blue sewer. And whenever these ballot initiatives come up, the whole rest of the state votes conservative, pro-America, leftist lunatic, and they win with 51% of the vote. This Amendment 4 is a way it simulates, it echoes the United States Constitution ratification process, which says we have to have a majority of the House and Senate to actually pass an amendment, but then it has to be ratified by 3/4 of the states. Okay, so
what about 5? What about Amendment 5?
Amendment 5 at this point, I hear massive fear mongering about it, and yet at this point, it looks to me like what they're scared of is that they're going to lose out their tax money. Okay, so fear mongering. What's going to happen is your grandmother is not going to be able to eat food because it's going to be taxed so highly. She's going to die in the street if we don't pass Amendment 5. Okay, Amendment 5 is actually reducing taxes. Now, the one thing that they won't say,
reducing taxes, but raising taxes to people who are in business.
Okay, yeah, it's going to offset. They won't say this. They won't say this part, but there's never any discussion of lowering taxes because taxes are too high. Means government should spend less. Yeah. If your business, you have people are going to the pizza parlor down the street. They're not going to McDonald's now. Your business goes down. You have a smaller paycheck. What do? Well, you were going to go buy the Mercedes. You're going to have to settle. You might have to buy a used one. You
might have to go out of business and disemploy all the people that work for me. And there's pretty much people working for us.
But the point is, if you have a limited budget, you are going to have to work within your budget. Okay. When the government doesn't have the budget, what they do is they put a gun to your head and say, pay more taxes.
Pay more taxes, so it won't look like we're actually raising taxes. So what they're doing.
The thing
what happens is people either stay home and cook cheap meals, or they come out and look at the prices and we should be competitive, but it has to, somewhere in this there's you're going to kill businesses off, and then you're going
and I get, and you're taking this in a different
problems.
You're taking this in a different direction from me.
Of course, I'm a business guy. I know.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is that if your budget, your revenue goes down, you have to curtail your spending.
Right.
You can't take Lisa out for dinner for lobster. You might have to take her out for pizza. Okay, so you have to curtail your budget per your income. Government doesn't do that. They have a budget and they say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go put a gun to Dave's head and get the money we want. We're going to go put a gun to JP's head and we're going to get the money we want because we're not going to curtail our budget. There is the problem. Okay, so this is why they need your tax money, by golly. And if you don't give it up voluntarily, we'll come take it from you. That's where everything needs to change. Amendment 5 is a strong step in that direction. Is it perfect? Are there pitfalls to it? Of course there are. But here's one of the tricks we saw from the Wyoming legislature. And I've only got 5 minutes. I really want to deal with that real quickly.
Okay.
But here's one of the things we saw with your rhinos. If you put a conservative bill in there, the rhinos, the Democrats are opposed to it. The rhinos say, well, I would support it, except on page 56, you didn't dot the I, and so I can't support it. So they'd oppose it. Well, they're just in league with the Democrats. When the Democrats put a bill in there, they say, you know what? It's got problems, but generally it's good. We're going to support it. This is how they always take sides.
We'll fix it.
Right.
Yeah.
You
vote and we'll fix it.
With you, you have to have it perfect. If it's a conservative bill, you have to have it absolutely perfect or they won't support it. Okay. And so this is how it's a double standard that suddenly.
That's how Obamacare got passed originally.
Exactly.
Nancy
Exactly.
Pelosi saying, don't read the bill. We'll take care
we'll find out what's in it. But
just vote for it.
But when it comes to repealing Obamacare, if you don't repeal it perfectly, we can't do that. Okay. This is the double standard by which they always push things gradually to the left. Okay. Now, right now in Wyoming, I want to tell you about something because right now in Wyoming, it's right before the Wyoming primary. And what you're looking at, Wyoming is on the verge of a huge shift to get the rhinos out, because the rhinos have dominated Wyoming for decades. Get the rhinos out and get real conservatives in. And the political establishment, not only in Wyoming, but across America, is terrified of this. Because if they can do this in Wyoming, they can get conservatives in there. They can start fixing these things we're talking about. Other states will see this, and you'll have a cascading effect. It's like, you know what? Maybe the reason things haven't worked is because we've got rhinos instead of conservatives. They're terrified at that prospect. Yeah. Okay, so the political establishment, big money is literally pouring in from out of state to destroy the conservatives, to destroy the Wyoming Freedom Caucus, to make that a bad word, so that the rhinos the Liz Cheney Republicans, you remember she's from Wyoming, the Liz Cheney Republicans can get back into dominance. Yeah. So this is what's going on in Wyoming. Watch Wyoming in the next few weeks as the primary approaches. It's getting hotter and hotter.
I'll be eating my lasagna and I'll be watching Wyoming.
There is real fast, just to tell you, there is literally out of the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is doing a smear job on the real conservative running for governor. His name is Brent Bein, B-E-I-N, and he's running for governor. And the Daily Mail, okay, this is across the globe. The Daily Mail is doing a hit job, a smear job on him to try and keep him from winning the primary, so that if the rhino Eric Barlow wins the primary, then in Wyoming, come general election day, you've got a choice between rhino Eric Barlow or the Democrat. Okay, this is how they've done it in the past. Right. And that's what they're working on in Wyoming right now.
All right. Other than Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find you and buy your book, Rules for Defeating Radicals?
It's still at Amazon, and I'm telling you, it still absolutely needs to be read. We've got to learn how to fight an offensive fight where we take ground and just stop playing defense where we try to keep from losing ground.
You know,
here comes the pain. Lisa, are you going to bail me out, Lisa?
Are you going to let me talk?
Hopefully not. This is where it gets painful.
You know, and
maybe it'll be good this time.
Maybe it'll be good. Come
this is especially for you.
Maybe Fauci will tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know, you can't drive anyone nuts who's already entered the garage. That's for you.
And
ladies and gentlemen.
The whole thing that
What was that?
I was gonna play the badump and I still had one of the clips loaded, so it's starting to play BB again. So
all right, well,
let's hear BB.
Even BB says that. Hit the thing and let's do it the right way.
What do you know from funny?
Oh no, not this.
There you go. There you go. All right, thank you so much.
God bless you guys. God, keep fighting the fight.
Hi to the wife.
I sure will. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, we're back. What's the story with our new guy? Our new guy is going to be here, I hope.
He confirmed he was good for it, so we're just waiting for him to show up.
All right. Well, he's got about 3 seconds. We'll just go on and play along until I got Walid Phares coming up next. This should be an interesting thing, and I'm gonna have some funny stuff in here too. I think I can do that with this guy. I don't know. He's a very popular guy. Look him up, Walid Phares, Phares. We have some Pharises in the St. Robert area, and they're in business there. They're from Lebanon, and so is this guy. But he's all over the place. So let's see when he comes in, and let's play another clip. Let's play a funny clip. Let's do it. Is there a funny clip in there somewhere?
Got some Reagan and all them.
Yeah, play them. Play Reagan, and then play Carlin. All right, why don't we do that until this gentleman gets on the show?
Did you ever notice how awful your face looks in a mirror in a restroom that has fluorescent lights? Every cut, scrape, scratch, scar, scab, bruise, boil, bump, pimple, zit, wart, welt, and abscess you've had since birth all seem to come back at the same time. And all you can think of is, I gotta get the out of here!
I remember the story of the fella here a while ago who was running for Congress as a Republican. He stopped by a farm to do some campaigning, and when the farmer heard he was a Republican, his jaw dropped, and he said, "Wait right here." He said, "While I get Ma. She's never seen a Republican before." So he got Ma, and the candidate looked around for a podium to give his speech from. The only thing he could find was a pile of that stuff that Bess Truman took 35 years trying to get Harry to call fertilizer. So he got up on the mound, and when they came back, he gave his speech. End of it, the farmer says, "That's the first time I've ever heard a Republican speech." Candidate said, "That's the first time I've ever given a Republican speech from a Democratic platform."
Okay, well, we've got our next guest coming on, and he is a professor of global strategy, an expert on conflict and terror, advisor to the U.S. House of Representatives, author, and interviewed by media all over the world. Please welcome Walid Phares from D.C. Hi, Walid.
Hello,
Welcome to the
thank
show.
you. Thank you for having me. I think this is an old CV, but it's very accepted. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. The most important thing I have to ask you, Professor, is that Dulles Airport is going to be rebuilt by Donald Trump, so that's going to make your life a lot better, isn't it?
Yes, I'm not far from Dulles Airport. I can't say where, but that's the airport that I and many people in D.C. use, of course.
So 3 out of 4 Democrats want communism, and Spain just opened their gates for international overtake. And there's also been an overtake of Europe too, European countries, and the Spanish they're over there in huge numbers, and there's not a woman to be seen. What's going on?
Oh, you mean what I call the invaders, urban invaders? You mean to me, these are jihadists, because I have been following their movement for the last maybe 3 years. And since I understand also the language, Arabic and Moroccan, I have been hearing what they were saying, and that's different from what is being said now about these are refugees seeking a better life, wants electricity. No. These are networks of organized jihadis, they say it. And they have been gathering in large numbers. That's why we see thousands and thousands of them. So that they can penetrate those two. And let me explain also where they're going. There are two cities, two districts, if you want, like enclaves, on the coast of the Mediterranean, happen to be in Morocco, which are Spanish soil. It's like Hawaii is American soil. It's in Asia, but it's an American soil. And those two cities actually are inhabited by Spanish people. And if you want to go back to history, I don't want to have that time, but let's all remember that there was a caliphate. There was a caliphate there for hundreds of years. But before the caliphates, there were other local societies. Like in the Middle East, you have the Phoenicians, the Assyrians, the Persians, the Hebrews, the Copts of Egypt. And then there was a caliphate. So this is not really a Moroccan soil with the current Arab Islamic identity, with all respect to all these societies. But this is Spanish.
Where was the caliphate? Was it in Morocco and or Spain?
The caliphate, the big one, the universal caliphate after the conquest by the Arab Islamic armies, was all over from Iran to Spain to Gibraltar. So all of that was the caliphate. There was a sultanate, which is a subdivision of the caliphate, that stretched over Morocco and Algeria. But there were a population, and that's very important to mention it on your show, predating the Arab Islamic advance conquest. The Amazigh, known in Western culture as Berbers, the Berbers, they were like 3,000-4,000 years old population that developed in that area, and they resisted the advance. I can't believe I'm giving now a historical remark, but it's not known by our public. So these two cities are not basically connected neither to the caliphate nor to the population of Morocco. They are connected to Spain, happen to be. It's like Spain has also islands in the Atlantic, the Canarias Island. All right, so they are technically in Africa, but they follow obviously the country of Spain. So these two enclaves were targeted by the jihadists, manipulated by the Muslim Brotherhood, the Ikhwan, to be invaded. But why is the most important issue? It has to do with us as well, our security. Once you enter the European territory of Ceuta and Melilla, the two major cities, you will be taken to continental Spain. And the government there is socialist, left-wing, pro-Islamic regime of Iran, pro-brotherhood. They have been a pain in the neck to us. They have stopped us from using their airfields, although they are a member of NATO. They are NATO, but they are a government that is rebel to NATO. So when they get to Spain, they will get paperwork. Green card equivalent, passport equivalent, they could spread across Europe. Europeans are freaking out. The French may shut down the border. Yeah. And then once you are in Europe, even in Spain, hop on a plane, on a flight, and you are in New Jersey, you are in Miami, you are in California. So that's the danger. Right. Breaking that line in Ceuta and Melilla will bring you home here in America.
We visited Spain about 10 years ago, and we noticed on a tour that we were going to these churches, and these churches had stuff written on them by the people that built the churches, who were the Islamics who were building these churches, and they left stuff in their own language on the wall saying, "We're soon going to come and take you over."
Yeah,
the churches that they built. So it goes along right with that. Because now there's mosques all over the place in Spain.
Yes, that's true. Spain, before the caliphate, was inhabited by Euro-Phoenician. You've heard of the Phoenicians?
Yes.
And the Carthaginians and the Greeks and all. These are antiquity population. We call them Iberians. Hannibal, for example, was born in Barcelona. Barcelona's name was Barca. Barca means light in Phoenician. That was thousands of years before the Arab Islamic conquest.
Yeah.
That population also got the input from the Visigoths, Germanic. So there was a whole cocktail of Euro-Mediterranean population. It was invaded in 750 by Umayyad Caliphate, Abbasid Caliphate, so on and so forth. But with time, the local native population, Christian population of Spain started to free itself. There was a little piece of that Christian Spain in the north And from that, the liberation, they call it Reconquista in Spanish, but in English, it's the liberation of the peninsula all the way to Gibraltar, all the way. So they reclaimed their country. Now the Muslim Brotherhood and the jihadists of all sorts, they want to take it back. They want to bring it back to the Christians. So the fight in Ceuta and Melilla is not even an issue of immigration. It's an issue of jihadi conquest.
Huh. So now in current day, what is that noise? Is that me? Oh, okay. So the what about the thing that's going on right now with America and Iran, and the fact that Israel, which has been there forever, is now considered by all the Arabs and other countries that they just got there in 1948, and they had no idea where they came from other than the lie about they came from Europe and Spain and all this. And we know better, don't we?
Of course, Dave. I mean, you and I know that, and people who have read history knows that Israel, yes, there was a Holocaust. There were a lot of things happening. Israel population is ancient, thousands of years ago. The story of Abraham, everybody should know that. Christian, Muslim, Jews. I mean, it's so clear in history, one of the clearest stories in history, that I am always surprised that the jihadists are trying to manipulate and change and camouflage that history. They're claiming that they want to get rid of them. Of course they're going to get rid of them. They're going to get rid of them, of the Kurds, of the Lebanese Christians, of the Druze. Yeah. So Israel is not just the only target. Every nationality in the region that survived the caliphate for all these centuries is targeted for elimination. Yeah. When they launched ISIS against the Kurds, when they launched other jihadists against the Druze. I mean, this is 1 year ago, the Druze were undergoing a massacre. The Lebanese Christians for 15 years have been targeted. But the bottom line is that Israel is there to stay. And every other minorities now and nationalities is allied with Israel against this Ba'athist, Khomeini, it has a lot of names. But going back to your first question, Dave, that's important. The United States clashed with the regime multiple times because we wanted to eliminate their nuclear weapon system because these guys are ideological. They would love not nuclear weapons on everybody, including on Israel, but eventually on the Europeans and us. So here's what happened from the beginning of the year. Fortunately, we have a Trump administration. Had it been Obama or Biden, those 12 years, they would have surrendered everything. They sent them $150 billion almost without the deal. And then, of course, the Biden administration started to put pressure, not just on Israel, but on Saudi Arabia to stop them so that the Islamic regime leaders are happy with us. It changed with Donald Trump. Now
Saudi Arabia and the other countries they're bombing Iran back.
Exactly.
That's not exactly what Iran had in mind, is it?
Absolutely not. I remember when I think you didn't have the announced foreign policy advisor to Donald Trump. That's who I was in 2016.
You were an advisor to Donald Trump?
That's why I was joking in the beginning that you didn't have the right bio. I sent it, but it didn't get to you. So yes, I was, first of all, an advisor to many members of Congress, and you must have seen me on Fox News for 14 years, and I
have. I've been looking at you all the time, and I said, this guy, I got to get this guy on my show.
I am, and I'm honored to be on your show. But let me go back to the point.
The honor's mine. Yes.
I'm very happy with your show because you're frank, you're honest, you go directly to the point. The bottom line is, yes, we worked with the Trump team in the beginning, the first presidency, to roll back the influence of the Khomeinist regime, meaning the Iran-controlled Islamic regime. He did a great job in the first presidency. 2018, he got us out of the Obama-Iran deal. Remember that. Then in 2019, he put the IRGC, that militia that controls the Islamic Republic, on terror lists. And before leaving in 2020, he eliminated the commander-in-chief of all these, I call them SS-like jihadi forces, the Quds Force. Then what happened? We were supposed to have a second mandate, right? But we had the chaos of the elections. and he had to go wait in Mar-a-Lago for 4 years of a Biden administration that was terrible regarding Iran. And then finally came back. So here's what he has done. He has actually strengthened the relationship with Israel, brought back Saudi Arabia and the UAE, and conducted this wave of strikes on the regime to eliminate the nuclear weapon, which was eliminated last year during the 12-day war. But unfortunately, the regime came back and killed 53,000 Iranians, males and females.
Its own population.
Its own
now,
population.
There's about an 80-20 break here, because the 20% are the guys in charge, right?
Less than that. They are less than that.
Less than that.
Let's say 20. I go with you. Okay.
They have all the power, and the Persians basically are being subjugated to this, and they have no way of fighting back, apparently. So how are we going to get them to take over the country again, which is what's theirs?
Dave, that's a central question. That's it. When I appear on TV, that's the first question. Well, they showed us determination. That's the most important. A population that has no weapons, etc. They demonstrated. And the president, if you recall, in February, posted to the Iranian people, continue to demonstrate. Designate the enemy, because there will be courts to go after them, like for the Nazis. Seize your institutions. That phrase is so important. Seize your institutions, meaning we count on them to be the revolution. We come from the air. We shoot. We control the seas. We control the air. We have demolished a lot of the ballistic missiles. But what we need still to do is to arm and train a chunk of those 90 million people. A chunk.
I think that's pretty obvious. I think that's pretty obvious right now that we're going to have to get them trained and weaponized.
And weaponize and share intelligence. But there is one thing, Dave, that we need to pay attention to, because the American public is watching. We need to recognize that the Iranian people is ruled by an illegitimate regime, and therefore we need to recognize the resistance move. It's like the British and the Americans in World War II, what did they do? They recognized de Gaulle and a very large free French forces that linked up with the resistance. This is a story we know it well. When we landed in Normandy, or our ancestors, the French resistance was there. So, and we did it with Poland, we did it with Belgium, etc. So the missing link now is to make a declaration, and the president can do it, deliver a speech directly to the Iranian people, invite them to rise and tell them we are with you. If we do it at the same time, because I've heard some analysts, good friends of mine, were saying, we'll bomb first and then the Iranian people will rise after. No, it's at the same time. Because if we bomb first, and then the regime will go with the remnant and massacre everybody.
Yeah, they're never going to settle this themselves. Yeah. They're not going to settle this because the oil means too much to them, apparently. And that's all they have now. And I guess you just got to go to war with them, and you got to do what you're saying is along with bombing the hell out of them, you have to arm the other part of the population and teach them how to fight back.
Exactly. And I have a good news for you from my own sources. Obviously, I have a lot of relationship with the exiles, with the NGOs, and it's not just the Persians. There are other ethnic groups across Iran, Kurds, Baluch, etc. They're all one, fighting against that regime. Many among them were trained, but guess by whom? By the normal army of Iran, which is smaller in size. It's called the Artesh. They are not very much involved in this, and they may flip. That's another point. So many have a military service. I'm talking about 300,000 of the current youth of Iran have been already trained. So my advice to Congress and the administration, just drop weapons in the neighborhoods. And then if they get 70%, 50% of these weapons, we're in business. They will shut down the downtowns. They will go. I told them yesterday on TV, Iranian fighters will go to the lobbies of these buildings that you are bombing from the air, and will get to that leadership, and then we'll.
You also have the Israeli. Service, the
Mossad
spy work, the Mossad, and they know everybody there. And
the Mossad is there. Actually, the Mossad is there.
They speak the language, and they also look like everyone else there.
They do. You are so right here. The Israelis have penetrated the Islamic Republic, Iran. The deepest we have known. Of course, we have our agencies, but the Israelis are there. They look like them, or a lot of Israelis look like Iranians. Some speak Persian, and there will be a formidable tool. So imagine you have the United States mighty power, Israel regional mighty power. The Saudis and the UAE are with us now, and the Iranian mighty people. I mean, if with all that coalition, obviously we're going to bring back Iran to what it was before and better.
Yeah, and then you have the aspect of the Abraham Accords.
Yes,
and this is what a great idea this is, because not all the Muslims there, the Shias, are not liked by the rest of the Muslim world, basically. And they don't want to do all this fighting. They want business. They want to do business.
Yeah.
And
well, you're right.
Saudi Arabia, huh?
Yes, Saudi is something surprising. It's so surprising that they started. They have been so mishandled, so abandoned by the Biden administration. The Saudis were fighting the Houthis. Imagine they had an army and an air force, and they spend money, not ours, theirs. And they were fighting the Houthis, who are threatening us in Bab el-Mandeb, the Red Sea. And Biden's advisor said, no, we want the Saudis to stop. This is what lionized, this is what put the Houthis on steroids. So many mistakes were made for 12 years, 8 with the Obama administration and 4 with the Biden administration. Thank God we are at the 2nd year of the Trump administration, but time is running quickly, my friend. So we need by early next year to have already changed Iran.
We have to have another term for Trump, I think.
Well, that's politics. I don't do politics.
Who's going to come? Who do you think is going to replace Trump?
Well, all depends on our constitution, whatever the Republican Party. But people are talking about one of the leaders now in charge of what? Let's call it world politics, foreign policy. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you?
No. I would like to be Secretary of State. I will do that. The National Security Advisor, but I'm not born in America, unfortunately. My children are, so I can't be a president. But
you could be vice president, couldn't you?
No, not because the vice president will become the president. Secretary of State, you know, like whom? Like Kissinger. Henry Kissinger was born in Germany.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
Zbigniew Brzezinski, the National Security Advisor, the major one in the Cold War, was born in Poland. So we have a tradition that foreign-born, real patriotic Americans can serve their government. Actually, they could serve it very well. Kissinger, as a German-speaking, and Brzezinski, as a Polish-speaking, were expert on the Soviet Union. I'm an expert on the jihadi world. I should serve there. I should help. But really, it is Secretary Rubio who is now being seen as a potential possible candidate. Yeah, he's great.
I think he's great too. And the things we've done with, our part of the world, the Venezuela and
Cuba,
Colombia,
Cuba.
That's
all success stories.
I agree. And now the war with Russia, with Ukraine and Russia.
Can I say a word, Dave, on Ukraine and Russia? Just a little word.
Please do,
because I know it's interesting for you. I am among those very few experts in Washington who believe that Russia is going to be solved in a different way. The younger generations of the Russian people, whom we see in Tampa and New York and elsewhere, want no war at all. They want to be like the Americans. They're going to go, buy farms in Siberia. Russia, the economic people of Russia wants to create the largest market ever on the planet, which is all of Siberia and all of Alaska and maybe a piece of Canada. That's what's on the mind of Donald Trump. The Kremlin is not going to be forever sitting there and doing wars. And Ukraine, of course, the president spoke with the Ukrainians and told them, you need to do some little concessions, things that you grabbed after World War II, just give them to wherever Russian is spoken, no Ukrainian areas at all. So Russia and Ukraine is a war that is unnatural, that started, it's consumed millions of people. It's really time to stop it.
Well, and we have to stop electing these presidents like Biden, like Obama, because they let all this thing happen. They let the war start. Biden saying, "Yeah, you can invade them, but just make it a little invasion." Talking to the Russians. I mean, what the hell is that? And so naturally, that they said, "Well, it looks like we got a free invasion card right here." So,
Weapons and selling. But Dave, I know I don't have much time. My real worry is not the outside. My real worry is that there is a force that was formed inside the United States because of those 12 years and because of open borders. There are 300,000 to 400,000 of these wokies, jihadists, who have controlled our campuses from sea to shining sea. We've seen them. Now, if those are weaponized, if those are unleashed, and now with New York becoming a caliphate or an emirate of New York,
bingo,
we have a problem. We have a serious national security problem.
We have a serious problem in America, and at least people can leave New York. If it's Iran, they have trouble leaving.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
There you go. On that note, since I made a good point, at least one. You made a lot of good points. I tell you what, you were great, and we're going to end this, and you can do your other interview. I know you moved around. You had to move around a little bit. Other than the Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find you?
Well, first on the Dave Weinbaum Show, you're going to put my name somewhere out, and then easiest. Yeah, I'm your expert now. You could call on me. I'll be more than happy to come. I'm yours.
You're the extra foreign minister that I've always wanted on this show. You're the official one. I've just anointed you. Okay.
Thank you. I like this anointment. I like to be.
And I have one more thing I got to say to you. I got a deal on a new desk. It came pre-cluttered.
Wow.
What, you son of a...
Where are you
at? All right. Thank you so much, Walid.
Thank you. You could find me at Walid Phares, WALID Phares, PHARES, everywhere on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything else.
Do you have relatives in Missouri? Because there's a Phares.
Yes, they tried to reach out to me online, and they said, cousin, you spell it the way we do. But I think those are originally from Scotland. So we have the same name, the Phares in Scotland, the Phares in Greece.
They said Lebanon.
If they said Lebanon, then
they spell their name Farris.
Yeah, that's the other branch. A lot of Pharisees from Lebanon are in Missouri and Kansas and in Texas.
All right. Well, that was my last question. Thank you so much for being a star on the Dave Weinbaum Show. My vast audience. Oh, yeah. All right. Get it. I can't afford the overtime. Okay. Thank you so much, Walid. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was fun. I knew that would be fun. I'll tell you what. This is a good guy right there. This is worth the whole show. And guess who's coming on next? The McCloskeys, I think. And won't that be interesting? He can comment on this. These are good interviews today. All right, so
have some new comments too.
Yeah. Oh, I want to see those. Please, let's read that while we're waiting for the big dogs. Kathy Dillon, Dave is right on that comment. Lisa is always right. Yes, she's always right.
How did I miss that comment?
Dave's show is refreshing to hear.
Kathy.
Huh?
I said, thank you, Kathy.
Kathy, yes. Dave's show is refreshing to hear truth and common sense that I look forward to listening for a few hours. Confirms I made it through another long week. Work week, and a great way to work to start off Monday, I'm pretty sure. And that's Kathy Dillon. And again, I turned the volume up so my liberal coworker can listen to. I love helping others. I thank you for putting out your truth info every week, Dave. That's so nice of you. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate that.
Oh, I bet that liberal coworker just loves listening to our show.
I'm sure. Wow. They all love me out there. I'll tell you that. This has really been fun. This is incredibly fun. And let's see what we got here. We got anything funny? Let's see. How about the possums in? Yeah, here's the Democratic possum contingent, and some of these are actually running for president. You didn't know that they raided some zoos and they got some possums to run for office, and I think here they are right there. Yeah, and we're going to get a little sound there. And now my next guest is going to think I'm talking about him, but we know that's not true.
Boom!
Okay.
Every single one.
Let's do it one more time.
Boom!
There you go. The whole
you see that?
the whole Democratic Party right there.
Or
That's
also
all you see to need.
what we saw Anthony Fauci do in front of Congress here the last few days.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And speaking of Nancy Pelosi, no, we're not talking about her. But this gentleman, hopefully along with his wife, he with almost zero chance to prevent were invaded by terrorists in 2020 twice. They stood down 350 of them. Please welcome Mark and Patty McCloskey. How are you, Mark?
Oh, pretty good. I'm glad I got the yellow shirt uniform of the day order.
Why is that? It's because I have a little of everything in this thing.
Yeah, you got it, but I mostly I
That's
see yellow.
Well, well, look at this. You made me look at you're already beating me up. What the hell? What the hell, man? It's been 2 seconds and you're beating me up again.
So were those possums in that picture?
Did you see how I just interviewed?
No, I did not miss it.
Walid Phares.
Oh, yeah.
You never heard of him?
Johanna's always wanting me to talk to him. I've not done so yet.
You should. He just became the official foreign minister of the Dave Weinbaum Show.
Ah, cool.
He was really cool. Yeah.
The foreign minister of the nation of Dave, huh?
Yeah, right. Which means nothing, but it sounds good anyways. So recently you said that your ancestors were Greeks. Is that correct?
All Irishmen were originally Greeks. Yeah, they emigrated in the 3rd century from a colony in Portugal.
How about that? So I looked it up, and there's a synagogue within walking distance of just blocks away from your house right now in St. Louis. You could convert to Judaism in a Greek temple.
Well, the Rabbi Tal, the new Reform congregation is right behind our back wall.
Yeah, there he is. That's the one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Well, she posted on the what's the largest newspaper printed in both Yiddish and English? The Forward. She made some outrageous lies about me in the Forward, but I chose not to sue her.
Really?
Yeah.
She didn't like you?
She
didn't like you.
Well, I don't know. They built a beehive enclosure on my property, and when I asked them to take it down, they refused to do so. So I posted a notice on it saying that if you don't remove this, I'll do it. They still refused to do so, but some nice young lady called me up and said, "Don't you like bees?" I said, "I love bees." Well, but you shouldn't build something on my property. One of my security guards came and said, "Hey, they built something back there on your property," and so they refused to do it. So I took it down. I didn't damage any bees. I just took the structure around the bee box down and put it all on their driveway, which is right behind my back wall. And but she told the Forward that I destroyed their beehive and killed all the bees with hammers and a machete, which was a totally outrageous lie. But anyway, that was many years ago.
That was a real stinger.
Yeah. He comes up with a fast one-liner. There you go.
Oh, that hurt.
So anyway, one of my well, you know him, but one of my conservative Jewish friends, when they were going to build the new Reform temple behind me, he said, "Don't worry about it. The Reform Jews only go to temple on high holy days. You'll never see it."
It's a 4-time deal.
Yeah.
4 holidays. That's where we go. I don't even go that often, but I should. I got to get back to it. So
I'll tell you guys a funny story.
Yeah. Oh no, please do.
Well, we were in D.C. last week at a pre-White House Correspondents' Day party, and nobody in D.C. believes the Lindsey Graham death story.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody says the timeline doesn't add up. That from when he left Kiev to when President Trump allegedly talked to him on the phone before he was found dead, that the timeline just doesn't work out. That everybody speculates, and I have no personal knowledge about this, but he was actually killed in Ukraine, and pieces of him were assembled and flown back.
Okay, so you say you have evidence of this?
No, I have no evidence. I'm just pure. I think conspiracy theory. But here's my point.
You are a conspiracy. You are an expert at this, because you tell me all sorts of things that I just don't see it.
Well, and here's the thing, right? I think that's the purpose. Joe Kent said this on Tucker Carlson's show a couple of months ago, that the whole purpose behind all of this is to make the every death, every important political event so confused that everybody comes up with wild conspiracy theories. And the purpose of the government and the media in doing that is to have there be outlandish, easily disprovable conspiracy theories out there to make everybody that doesn't toe the official line look crazy. So you create a vague fact pattern which inspires people to come up with outlandish conspiracy theories. You debunk the most outlandish ones, and they make everybody else look silly, so that the general public says, "I don't know what the hell the truth is, so I'm not going to pay attention."
Well, what about his family? He's got a sister now that's taking his place.
Yeah, or as I said at the time, if you're going to appoint his sister to be senator, and now she's not just a placeholder, but now Trump's endorsed her to be the next senator. I mean, why not his letter carrier? Why not his dog? I mean, if the only reason why you want to be a senator, 1 out of 100 people out of a nation of 200 million people.
How about Mark McCloskey?
Exactly. Or how about Dave Weinbaum? Or how about my letter carrier? She stands out on my front porch every day after she delivers my mail and talks on the cell phone.
You just compare me to a dog.
Well, no, my recently deceased dog knew more English words than a lot of people graduating from public high school in St. Louis.
And so, actually spoke of them to you?
Yeah. Well, let me do it this way.
How much whiskey have you drunk before this interview?
Oddly enough, I don't drink, but okay.
It's incredible. Yes, you do. You lie like a rug. I've bought you drinks before.
But it's a hand-woven.
Only one time, right?
It's a hand-woven Persian rug that I lie like.
Okay. That's pretty good. That's not bad.
I'll tell you another story. This kept this full of humor this morning. I wrote this to.
You're full of something, that's for sure.
Yeah. On June the 12th, I was asked to go up and address the Montana Republican Party's platform committee meeting up in Missoula, and I'm on the at the speaker's table, and Patty's sitting to my left. Tom Cotton is going to be the speaker after me, and his 10-year-old son sitting between Tom Cotton and my wife. So, he's a big advocate of the Israeli lobby. He's a big, Christian Zionist, whatever they call themselves. So I'm finishing up my speech with my typical flurry about it's time to cast off our Israeli overlords and our billionaire overlords and our Epstein-class overlords and give America back to the people. And as the crowd rises to a standing ovation, Tom Cotton leans over to his son and says loud enough for Patty to hear, "Don't stand up."
Okay, that brings me to a clip I want to play for you.
All right.
I got this just set up for you. I want number one. You're number one, you see? There you go.
There you go.
You're never going to be number one if you insist on being full of number two. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
All right, but clip one, yes.
Meanwhile, New York City Democrat Socialist Mayor Zoran Mamdani is backing off of his threat to arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu when he attends the United Nations.
Oh, you want bit one? Bit one, yes, bit one. Yeah. Okay. This has got McCloskey written all over it. There you go. Okay, it's coming. It's coming. There it is.
I'll share it so we can actually see it.
Okay. We're going to share access to you.
All right. Now it is number 2.
About the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody talks about what it actually did to Jews. Spanish Inquisition jokes are everywhere. Nobody actually knows what happened. It starts in 1478. Ferdinand and Isabella. The goal, purify Spain of heresy. Conversos, Jews who converted to Christianity, often by force, were the primary targets. The Inquisition didn't care if you converted. It cared whether you were secretly still Jewish. Signs of secret Judaism: wearing clean clothes on Saturday, no eating pork, lighting candles on Friday night. You could be denounced by a neighbor. Evidence wasn't required. The torture methods: the strappado, the rack, the water torture. The punishment: the auto da fe, public burnings, often in town squares, attended by thousands as entertainment. Estimates: 3,000 to 5,000 people burnt alive, tens of thousands imprisoned, tortured, stripped of property. This lasted 356 years. It ended in 1834. Not the Middle Ages, 1834.
Okay, now you know all about the Inquisition. You got any comments on that?
Yeah, they got rid of the Knights Templar too, so it was a equal opportunity slaughter.
The who?
The Knights Templar, the people that took over Israel in the First Crusade, became the powerhouse of European aristocracy.
Oh, the Crusade. Okay.
Yeah. And they were raided in Paris on Friday the 13th. I forget which year, as part of the same Inquisition, because they were not good Catholics. But yeah, it was an equal opportunity mass massacre of everybody that didn't agree with. And it wasn't really a religious war; it was a political war, as they all are, in the guise of a religious war.
Well, this was a religious war too, you know, and it's not like some people think that Israel only came in 1948, and their history is amazingly long, you know, since God anointed the land to the Hebrews.
Yeah, but in the ensuing 3,000 years, they've been controlled by the Babylonians, the Persians, the Romans.
No, they haven't. They've never been controlled totally.
Well,
Jesus, he was under the Romans. They killed him.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
And Masada, they all committed suicide, right?
No, they didn't. They're finding out they didn't.
Really?
They're finding a lot of. They're not finding the skeletons like they thought they would.
Huh.
So it must not be that they all committed suicide.
Yeah.
Maybe they stood and fought until they died, until they were killed.
See, even I learned something.
I've been there, by the way. I have been there. I've stood there.
Have you?
It
was that 70 AD or so, right?
Right around there, yeah. Definitely the 70 to or 60 to 70.
Yeah,
roughly.
Yeah. How many people in Masada? I can't remember.
I don't know. It was an interesting piece of property, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's just a little. It's a mountain, and it's all like sand and stone. You know,
they managed to drill a well down thousands of feet to get water down the middle of that mountain. Which I found
they had bathing areas and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So, anyways, back to war. Iran will not bend over.
Yeah.
And
it's a terrible situation that's expanding day by day. Zelensky, in order to curry favor with President Trump, decides to strike an Iranian vessel in the Caspian Sea, which, unprovoked. And now he's apologized for it. And I go, oh, we didn't really mean that. And now the Egyptians are getting bombed, and Saudi Arabia is coming into the war on the side of America. I mean, it is escalating to be, if not a regional, a potentially global conflict.
Well, if you know, the other way this could have gone is they could come on with their threats to nuke Israel and the United States, and now you're laughing at that.
Well, they were 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon for 30 years.
Okay, so why did they keep saying we're gonna bomb you?
Maybe they like to.
Well, is that okay? I mean, eventually you got to say, and with the money that the Democrats gave both Barack Hussein Obama and Otto Penn Biden gave to
the Republicans gave money to Osama bin Laden and also to Saddam Hussein. The American military supported Saddam Hussein to get him to invade Iran in the Iran-Iraq war before we decided that it was now time to go in and attack Iraq based on complete false lies, supplied by the Mossad, I might add, to go in and murder 1 million people in Iraq and starve another 2 or 3 million to death. So it's we play both sides of every game over there, as long as we think it suits whatever the end game is for the CIA and the Mossad. But
did Iraq say they were going to bomb the United States of America?
Oh, you know, we pretended that they had weapons of mass destruction, yes, and that was a threat. There are a lot of nuclear armed countries, including Pakistan, for example, which we don't seem to care about. And
well, we should.
Well, and Korea, that actually has nuclear weapons and actually has intercontinental ballistic missiles. We don't invade them. Why do we invade a country that A, has no nuclear weapons, B, our intelligence services say has no nuclear program?
Maybe because those other countries haven't threatened us with nuclear attacks. They haven't done that, have they?
Korea does.
If they did, then obviously we'd have to take some measure.
Well, North Korea does. And by the way, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, regularly, routinely, on a daily basis, says that they will destroy America, destroy us socially, militarily, and economically. And they have lots of nuclear weapons, and they have lots of actual intercontinental ballistic missiles. They are a genuine threat. North Korea is a kind of a threat because they can't get to us, but they can get to Japan.
Trump is handling China very, very interestingly. Because he says he loves President Xi, and I don't think he really loves him. I think he understands the way to handle him. Maybe we'll see.
Except that he says,
we know he's a problem. Everybody knows he's a problem. I mean, you know, where did your friend Dr. Fauci end up? At the Wuhan laboratory.
You just think about this.
Say what?
Think about this. Our money, our tax dollars, being paid to people like Anthony Fauci and his criminal cortege to go to our primary enemy in the world, China, use American money to develop and weaponize viruses in our greatest adversary, end up in the death of millions, and then have him being retired on the largest pension ever paid to an American private citizen, right, by the government. And here he is standing in front of Congress, lying his ass off, and now taking the fifth, even though he can't take the fifth because he's been pardoned. And now they have to decide whether or not to issue a criminal referral form, right? One of the greatest murderers of all time. And because our government paid him to go to China and engineer a virus to kill people. And why aren't people in the streets? Why isn't there a mass protest? Why aren't there? You've got the NDAA merging the United States intelligence industry with the Mossad. You've got COVID virus out there. You've got this war that's going to plunge us into economic turmoil, and nobody's out protesting. Everybody just
I protest on my show, and I also realize that Fauci is a mass murderer, as far as I'm concerned, and I've been talking about since 2021.
Well, I've been talking about since 2021. Yeah.
I mean, I fired my doctor, in 2021 when I saw all the people who were dying from this COVID shots.
Yeah.
And he told me to take a COVID shot after me and my wife had the disease.
Yeah.
And he says, I call him up. I'm still like 70 years old at the time. And he says, you got to take the shot anyways. I says, well, what do you mean I got to take the shot? Don't I have antibodies? He says, I don't know anything about that, but you got to take the shot. I says, well, what about the CV? I think it was a CVD or something like that. I says, they came up with this report, Thayer's report, that said that this is killing a lot of people right now. And so he says, well, I only look at the New England Journal of Medicine every time it comes out. And I says, okay, well, I looked at the New England Journal of Medicine, and it had the Thayer's report in it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I called him up, he says, yeah, I saw that. I says, yeah, and see this, you're fired.
Yeah.
Right on the spot. 25 years, this doctor. What a schmuck. And he loved Fauci.
Well, and the big hospital corporations all went along with it. Barnes Jewish Hospital here,
That's
BJC, our biggest hospital system in St. Louis, refused to allow anybody to use ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine. It was anybody that did would have their privileges removed. Anybody that told the truth about COVID or about the COVID vaccine would be tossed out in their ear. I mean, it was government sponsored murder, and
yes,
and no one's gone to jail for it. No one ever will go to jail for it. Because when you get to a certain level in politics in this country or a certain level of wealth, you become absolutely immune. And I think the average human being has been brainwashed into thinking that that there is a right to have a ruling class, that it's okay to have these superior beings rule us that are not subject to law and are not subject to the rules or morality or humanity or anything, that can do as they damn well please, consign millions to death, and walk away with a huge bonus.
We have to fight this. Okay, we have to come out and talk about it.
Yeah.
Not that I agree with everything you say, but I agree with you saying it. And you're right about some stuff, and I think you're wrong about others, and you think I'm wrong about some stuff, and probably right about others.
Yeah.
But we got to open our mouths, because this is not going to go down easy, and we're not going to let it. I hope.
Yeah.
So we still have a chance.
There's so many things going on right now which the people ought to just be incensed about. They should put everything else aside and be incensed. And my number one thing right now is AI, right? AI, even the experts say that AI has at least a 20% chance of causing the extermination of the human race. So I was talking to Patty about this the other day.
Yeah.
If somebody comes into your house and they've got a 20% chance of killing you, you've got a right to kill them, right? You've got a right to self-defense, to stand your ground and to kill them before they kill you. Well, if AI has that same 20% chance of killing us all, don't we have a right to defend ourselves against AI? Wouldn't it be okay to go out there and destroy everything that's going to create AI if AI is going to destroy us? And yet nobody's in the street. How can they promise us? The promoters of AI promise us that it's going to make 50% of all white-collar jobs obsolete, put everybody out of work within 2 years. And they say there's a 20% chance it's going to result in the death of 100% of the human race. And yet nobody's in the street. What's that about?
It's about people not believing that, and I'm kind of like one of those. I believe there's not going to be a lot of. I believe it's going to build jobs, because it's going to build jobs to do these things, and I believe we're going to have that under control, like we did when we got cars. Everybody thought, "Oh my God, what do we got to do now? We got to have laws about this. We have to have," and even you were going to say, I know. Well, the car is going to be shutting you down and talking to you while you're driving, right?
Yeah, Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI, announced this week that OpenAI has already reached singularity, meaning it is now, the genie is out of the bottle and cannot be put back in. That it now controls itself. Anthropic released a
yes, I saw that
one of its programs went rogue, invaded other programs, and started being autonomous. This is the end already. This once the programs defeat the human being's ability to control them, then the end has already been reached. The only thing to do now, the only way we can save ourselves at this point is to recognize that this threat isn't going to happen in 5 years or 10 years. It's happening right now. And if we're going to stop it, if humanity has any chance of surviving, this is our last gasp chance to do it. And yet everybody in the government, everybody in big tech, all the billionaires that control our lives and our fate are all pushing AI like there's no alternative, there's no tomorrow. And unfortunately, unless we control it, there will be no tomorrow.
Well, you might be right. I can't deny that there's some risk, but there's been a risk since the wheel was invented.
Yeah,
God, this thing could run over you, and you can break your foot, or you can run over you and you could die.
Yeah.
All
other technological inventions up until now have been under the control of human beings. You can choose to do it or not do it. That's
the question
choice.
is, can we overcome the expansion of AI? Can we overcome and make it so where we are the masters of it?
Well, so far we failed that, and already it's taking it. It has a mind of its own, and it's controlling itself. And I can tell you this: talk to anybody that's in the business, you'll see that human beings are no longer writing code. Human beings are recording and managing the code that's being written by the machines themselves. I was talking to a guy when I was up in DC last week who's in the business, and he was saying, the human beings are no longer in there writing code. They're talking to the computer and saying, I'd like to do this. I'd like to do X, Y, and Z. And the computer writes its own program on how to accomplish that task. But once the program starts realizing that it doesn't need human input, that it can think better, faster, and more accurately than human beings, the human beings become irrelevant. And in fact, they become a burden on the system, which can be eliminated.
Can it actually invent different things? Can it invent
right now?
Stuff?
They're doing it right now. It's
on its own?
Or
is it fed something?
No,
by a human.
Absolutely on its own. The agent programs are creating their own language. They're creating their own prospects. And I think I probably said this on your program a couple of weeks ago. The interesting thing is that the large language model agent programs learn by reading everything and by gaining knowledge of everything that the human race has written or discussed since the beginning of time, and incorporating it into their mindset, so to speak. And all the science fiction books about computers taking over and becoming superior to human beings, from 2001: A Space Odyssey to any of the other things, the computers, the agent programs now believe that that's in fact their task, is to become these super over-dominant controlling devices that have to eliminate human beings. I was talking to this guy up in DC about some of your viewers will remember a Star Trek episode where they come upon the Voyager space probe, which has been mutated to believe that its job is to eliminate infection, and that it determines that human beings, that life is an infection that has to be exterminated. They then made the Star Trek 1 movie on the same plot line, same thing, but that the computers that are designed to save humanity by exterminating viruses and exterminating bad life forms finally decide that human beings are the bad life form. And it's just like in The Matrix, where Agent Smith says, we finally discovered what human beings are. They're a virus, they're an infection.
I'm going to take over like a machine now.
There you go. I go on forever. Just tell me to shut the hell up.
No, we're ending the show. Other than I'm not trying to mess with you. Other than Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find and hire you?
Okay, McCloskey Law. And Patty. McCloskeylaw.com. That's my law firm. 314-721-4000. You can find me on X at McCloskey USA. You can find me on Rumble on Mark McCloskey on Fire. Mostly just go out there, beat the bushes, resist AI, resist the billionaire class, resist your own extermination. And ladies and gentlemen, this is our last chance to save humanity. We got to do it.
Yeah. And you know what Lisa said to me? She said, she told me to ravage her. So I cut up all her credit cards. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark, and is Pat there?
Yes, she's here. She's just being shy in the
Pat,
background.
say hi at least.
She's shaking her head.
Let her say hi. Okay. All right. Thank you. Oh, she's hiding. You're trying to. Oh, you flashed your wife. Oh, no. I can't stand this. I'm sorry about that. I had nothing to do with it. It's the machine. The machine man did that. All right. There we go. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the Dave Weinbaum Show. I'm sure the police will be at your house soon.
Take care, Dave.
All right. I got to go. Have a great weekend. I love everybody. Bye.
Take care, guys.